matter that the state of Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I ain't gonna be here long.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, well, that's,
Well, my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump a leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, and my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, guns are rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, no, Lord. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, guns are rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long. After it, I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. Ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. Come after it, I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I'm drinking, smoking, guns of rebel son.
all right, welcome everybody to Fren Report Live number 8. That song you just heard was Gun Totin' Rebel Son by Texas duo Whiskey Dick. So you can check them out on YouTube or at whiskeydickband.com. And I am your host, the Walrus, and with me tonight I have Johnny Ketamine, aka K-Hole.
Howdy.
I have Jamie Borch
Hello.
and Steve Z.
Hello. And I wanted to say what an honor it is to be on the podcast of the president-elect here with President-elect Jacob,
What a
President
fuck.
and President-elect
No,
Ronnie
I'm the
K.
president. For those of you that didn't know, we were doing that on Twitter. Steven posted a little thread about how I called the New York Times and I told them I'm gonna call myself president-elect, and they didn't care. So you know, a bunch of us just started going, "No, I'm president-elect."
Mom said I could be president-elect this time. You have to let me be the president-elect. It's not fair.
It doesn't matter because none of the people
These
calling them.
motherfuckers don't know how to go the fucking speed limit, and I'm about to fucking murder somebody on the fucking highway.
Oh God!
God damn it,
That doesn't matter who.
fucker!
It doesn't matter because none of the people that are currently calling themselves president-elect are ever going to take office. So.
Very true.
I might have to disagree with you there. I think that my odds are better than Biden's right now.
Yeah, I would give you. I think my
Probably.
odds are better than Biden's right now too. Oh,
Well, we got lots of news coming out about that today.
we do. Before we get
uh,
there, I want to make a couple. We got a couple good things that happened with the channel today. On YouTube, we hit 100 subscribers, so I got the official, the channel URL that is now officially youtube.com/FrenReport, so that's cool. And we hit 200 subscribers on DLive last night, so I got to apply for DLive affiliate. So we're pretty
Very
good for the
excellent.
first week. We hit the first milestone on both platforms, so
Hmm.
I'm not complaining.
Very based.
Yeah, that deserves a clap in the chat. So, congratulations to everybody. So, and we got a theme song now too, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I might just use that one as the theme song all the time. I don't know. I might switch it up, but I like that one. So
It was nice, yeah.
yeah, it's a good.
We got any more housekeeping, or we want to get into the news?
I think that's it for housekeeping for now. If you'd like to support the stream, you can donate at streamlabs.com/friendreport. And
Excellent.
And other than that, we can get to the news. Unless there's been
All right.
lots of good news today too. Well, good for
Yeah,
us.
I mean the team defending Trump or representing Trump in the case, they've been all over Newsmax and just media in general, talking about all of the sworn affidavits that they're now getting. You know, it started with that one mail carrier in Erie, Pennsylvania, but now it's grown as of, I think, the 11th. They were saying that they had 500 sworn affidavits,
Yeah.
and alleging 11,000 incidents, and particularly 60% of one batch had the same signature on it. So, I mean, that's just crazy news. 60% of one batch. You know, we saw some weird things like 22,000 votes coming out of Philadelphia at one time, all for Biden. I mean, I saw 538 sharing that. You know, these are supposedly statisticians seeing no problem with saying 22,000 votes in a contested state, in a contested election, going entirely to one candidate.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like they started with the one dude and was it the Philadelphia post office, and they were giving that dude hell and fucking lied about him, said he recanted and all kind of crazy shit, which he never did recant.
He did not recant. In fact, he doxed himself.
Yeah, because at first he said he wanted to be anonymous and stuff, but like had to say who he was to like lend credence to it and all that good shit. And
yeah, and he was getting harassed at work because they knew it was him.
yeah,
and to save his own butt and, you know, get those whistleblower protections, he had to sign that affidavit.
yeah, and
Did you guys hear any of his interview with the feds?
I didn't hear that interview. No.
It's pretty fucking funny. The way they're talking to him, like, dude, I'm just like you.
yeah, I listened to the whole thing yesterday. Actually,
We got a lot in common, dude.
It was like 2.5 hours. I listened to the whole thing yesterday.
I scrubbed around a bit because it's extremely cringe.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing other stuff while I was doing it, so I was,
Well, all federal agents are fucking cringe, dude. This should be public knowledge by now.
right. I mean, I was shit posting and going through all the news and all the other shit that I do all the time. So wasn't just
Did we
solely
see
focused
the
on
thing
it. That would have been
about-
boring as hell. But
Did we see the thing about that Trump reconciliation and apology commission bullshit? They're shutting that shit down now.
Oy vey.
Or so they say. So they say they're shutting it down. I'd say there's about a 90% chance they're claiming that they shut it down, but they're really keeping it going in the dark.
yeah, they said that. Oh yeah, we're no longer active. I retweeted it and was like, "That's okay. I kept my list, and we haven't got active yet." Because when they first posted about the list, I was like, "I'm making a list of all these motherfuckers making lists."
Yeah. Yeah. The Trump campaign is, you know, they're firing on all cylinders right now. There was a couple incidents where the Biden campaign is now like, they're really running with this office of the president-elect thing. They're trying to get stationery printed by the Fed, by the department in the executive branch that does that, and they got shut down, so they won't be able to do that.
I'm sorry, that's just so gay.
I know.
Such a funny thing to get like returned down from. Sorry, go ahead.
What else? They tried to get intelligence briefings, because I suppose that's normal for president-elects to start getting intelligence briefings, but they were denied intelligence briefings.
Yep.
Like, you're not the fucking president yet.
GTFO'd at every fucking turn. It's so funny.
And then there's more news about the election too. We had the Pennsylvania court ruled today in Trump's favor. They said that voters who did not provide proof of identification after November 9th will not have their votes counted. So that's going to get audited.
Nice.
And then, of course, the biggest news is all this news about the Dominion software company. So we had the one guy calling himself Antifa, I guess, on social media posts.
Coomer. Yeah, that was
I'll never forget that dude's name as long as I live.
Bro, I thought it was a meme. Like, I thought it was a joke that his name was actually like Cooper or something. But
nope, it's Coomer.
Where is that name from? Like, where do you?
I have no idea.
It's just perfect, is what it is.
Kazaria,
It really is.
It's meme, Matt.
If I had to guess, I'd say Kazaria. Coomerberg.
And then we also had the sworn affidavit from Melissa Carone, who's an IT worker for Dominion Software, and so she was in Detroit, and she was working at one of the voting centers there, and according to her words, she witnessed nothing but fraudulent action taking place. She said she saw workers count some ballots 4 or 5 times, and noticed that one of the counters had even counted a batch of ballots 8 times. Wow. And she confronted her manager, this guy Nick, I can't pronounce his last name, but saying how big of a problem it was, and her manager told her, nothing to see here, basically. We're here to do IT, not run the election.
Right.
So, and then she said that she also saw workers looking at ballots they couldn't read, and then rewriting the ballots, signing them themselves, and sometimes even changing the votes. And
there is nothing to be seeing here. We do IT.
And then
might have been like
she,
Wilford Brimley. What?
She said that she also saw vans unloading ballots as well. So yeah, I mean, this is now part of the lawsuit filed in Michigan, and this is one of the biggest ones I've seen yet. So unfortunately, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be super convenient, and she was going to start calling out Dominion for the apparent malware situation.
Yeah.
But it turns out that this is an on-site voter fraud affidavit, which kind of goes in line with everything that we've seen so far. Not particularly new news, but it's still a big deal.
Yeah. And speaking of the malware thing, that kind of leads me into InfoSec and CodeMonkey Well, actually, I think first there was this other thread that I don't even think was from Code Monkey. But in Pennsylvania, a laptop and some hard drives that were used to set up the. Actually, I probably did get that from that thread. But a laptop and some hard drives that were used to set up the voting machines and hook them up to the. It's supposed to be an intranet, although, where it's all an enclosed network. But apparently it was connected to the internet, too. That's a whole other thing. But,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna rant about this for a little bit because there's quite a bit there. But,
Go for it.
Get it?
And I'm an infosec expert. That's what I went to school for and everything. And it really triggered my autism there because there's so many problems with it. But the biggest one was this laptop and flash drives that were used to set up the voting machines had disappeared. Yeah. And so somebody had the whole setup scheme and everything, and apparently this was blew my fucking mind. They used all the same, like everybody that had access to it or something had used all the same encryption keys, which means that basically like they all used the same passwords.
Right.
They all had the same password. So not only does that make it like a million times more insecure, plus then you can't track it back to who did it. And it's fucking ridiculous. There was one in Texas that something like 15 counties in Texas were using all the same security certificates. So they had all the same public-private key pairs and all kind of crazy stuff. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to laugh at the incompetence or if I wanted to scream at the incompetence because it was so bad. Like, it's like first week fucking of infosec school. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do that.
It sounds like they were intentionally creating vulnerabilities so that when things started happening in real time, they could assured an easy route to tamper with the software.
Yeah, both of those issues could be hemmed up to incompetence. But then there was another thing that there's no way this was part incompetence because that software has where you can do like weighted voting, fractional voting. So you can say like, if this vote's for Donald Trump, you only count it as a half vote. Well, if this vote's for Biden, you can count it as 1.5 or whatever.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And there's no way that the auditors would be able to see that because all they see is that, oh, every vote's getting counted, And,
right.
Right. You'd have to actually look at the code itself to see the weighting.
Yeah. Well, it's in the code. You'd have to see the setup, the log files, and all that good stuff.
Well, when these audits actually take place,
huh?
As these audits are already starting to take place, it seems like they have programmers looking at the code.
Yeah. That's but if like they had root access to it and shit, which they probably did, then they can just delete the log files and change the config files back to where they should be, and there's no way you'd be able to tell. So
that's why they need the National Guard to go in there and seize those machines now before they get a chance to fucking do that.
Yeah.
They need to seize federal government needs to seize all that equipment and hold on to it and investigate it.
I mean, it's probably already too late. They needed to do that from day one, but
Yeah, true.
But they will be able to show that the log files are missing days worth of data.
Yep.
Because those keep a certain time, and unless they're creating fake timestamps in the log files, which is possible, I suppose.
yeah, it's definitely possible.
And you said that this wasn't Dominion, though. This was something else.
No, that was
Hammer or
Dominion.
something like that.
That was Dominion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Dominion's supposed to be hooked with the hammer and scorecard thing. Dominion's supposed to be hooked into that because.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this is crazy because they're in every single swing state. They're in Michigan, Wisconsin, even Minnesota. So, I mean, it might be worth looking at Minnesota again. They're in Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Georgia. These really convenient states.
What a coincidence.
Right.
Yeah, all the ones that are in question,
Yeah. And it's almost like they just let Ohio and Florida go to try to make it look like it was such a close election that this stuff made sense in the context.
Yeah.
Because they could have easily done this in Ohio. It might have been more difficult in Florida because my understanding is Florida required all mail-in ballots to be counted as they came in rather than on election day.
Right. So it's harder to mess with it that way because you can see, and then if there's an issue, you can. That's why Florida went red, and then they called it. It was one of the first states they called.
Yeah, because they were out of options in that case, which is the way it should be in every state. They should be, if they're going to be doing these ridiculous mail-in ballots, they shouldn't be waiting until after all of the electronic ballots have been counted.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did it for. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they do that, but it was fucking retarded.
I can't imagine that it's for anything other than nefarious reasons,
How could it be?
Right.
Like I said, with that fractional voting shit in there, why would that even be in there? Why are you using software that has that in there? It creates a security hole that there's no reason to be in there. So, I don't know why they did that, but they did. So that's going to come out. Oh, I saw something that really pissed me off today. That apparently now Georgia, because Georgia still has their Senate runoffs, because the way they do it in Georgia in Senate races, they'll do all the candidates that are running. So I think there was like 3 Republicans and a couple Democrats and like Libertarian Party and crap like that, an independent or two. So there's all these. So if somebody doesn't get at least 50% of the vote, and then they have a runoff election just with the 2 highest. And so the Republican candidates, which is they're the incumbents, but they got to do the runoff, which they would almost certainly win.
Yeah, because they got, between the 2 candidates, they got far and away the majority.
Yeah, they definitely got far and away the majority. And
which is extremely questionable, because wouldn't you think that it would have been close if, based on everything that we're seeing with the presidential election in Georgia?
Well, and that was across the board too, and I don't know how many states fucking the Dem House lost seats.
Yeah.
Senate was getting reelected left and right.
Yeah. So
I
what
think
was
they
going on?
increased their majority in the Senate, didn't they? Or they didn't? Something like that. And
Is it just that the entire Republican Party is compromised by the CIA except for Donald Trump?
that's a strong. I mean, that's a very strong possibility.
I mean, the media and a lot of politicians seem to have backgrounds with the CIA. And that guy on Fox now, he wears CIA pins, one sometimes two, while he's talking. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah.
Wasn't Anderson Coomer? He was CIA, right?
correct. Yeah, he started his reporting by showing up at a battle or a war zone with a fake press pass.
Fuck.
But what I was saying about Georgia, so they got this runoff that's going to be in January, and so now the Dems are trying to get as many fucking Dems to move to Georgia in the meantime to try to stack that vote,
I see that happening in a lot of places.
Like the New York Times ran repeated pieces on it. Or no.
They're clearly they've been doing that in Texas for a long time. Every single time you see Austin mentioned anywhere in media, they always refer to it as like the music capital of America. Like they're clearly trying to get young liberal people to move to Austin.
Yeah, they're trying to meme it.
Exactly.
That's why they were talking about. Oh, we're gonna turn the fucking. We're gonna turn Texas blue and all this crap. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because even the Mexicans in Texas were voting for Trump this time.
Yep. And every single time they make a list of all the top cities to move to. What's always at the top? Austin, Austin, Austin. They're hammering that so hard because they know that people are moving out of these coastal states that are becoming harder and harder to live in. California is Cal exits happening. New York State is deteriorating pretty fast. Everybody that's not in New York City wants to move out, and everybody that is in New York City wants to move upstate.
Right.
And then, so where are all these people going to go? Well, Austin, Texas. Another one is North Carolina. They've got a tech bubble now happening in North Carolina. Which is actually great. If you're into tech and you're conservative or Groyper or whatever, I think that you really should consider North Carolina because there's a lot of work there, and it's not a blue state yet.
Yep, it's not yet. And I lived in North Carolina for quite a while, and it's I lived out in the boondocks, so obviously it was very, very red, very redneck even, but
Yeah.
But even California, so all these tech people are flooding out of California. You always think, because when you think about California, you think San Francisco, LA, but San Francisco, LA, and Sacramento there's just so many people in there, but those are the only blue centers in California. If everybody's flooding out of there, then wouldn't even be surprising if we turn California back red again, because it was red historically until the 90s.
Well, it's nice to dream.
Yeah. Even when Schwarzenegger was the
the
governor there, he was on the Republican ticket, even though he's married to a Kennedy, so that didn't make a lot of sense. Yeah.
He is.
Arnold Arnold Schwarzenegger gamer word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
now-
SWAT gamer
Took me a
word.
while.
And now his son.
SWAT
Yeah,
word.
it took me a while to do that joke.
Worth it.
I was trying not to make it, but
Schwarzenegger word.
You know, I actually voted for Schwarzenegger. I was living in California at the time, and
I did
And
too.
it-
Actually, I was in California for that, and I voted for Arnold.
people forget it was by no small margin that Schwarzenegger won. Like,
Yeah.
it was a landslide,
Yeah.
and it's also really interesting because he won against Cruz Bustamante at the time,
Yep.
and it was a special election. The Governor Gray Davis had
Yeah,
to-
because that's when Gray Davis got the boot.
Yeah, because he spent too much money, so nobody was interested in having another Democrat in office. And in addition, Cruz Bustamante, get this, wanted to give driver's licenses to all of the illegal immigrants.
Yep. Yep. I
And at the
remember.
time, that was a pretty controversial position.
Yeah.
So, like, how the times have changed. You know, now that's actually written into law in, like, I think 13 states or something like that.
Right.
Wait, what is?
That illegal immigrants can get driver's licenses.
Oh yeah. See, where I'm at, they don't even bother. When they get pulled over, they usually just get let go.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't have to have.
Which is real. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
If they cause an accident, let's say you get hit by an illegal immigrant, there's really nothing law enforcement can do, particularly in like a sanctuary area, because they can't arrest the illegal immigrant, because then they're going to have to turn them over to immigration, which they can't do. And the insurance company can't do anything about it. So you're just going to have to hope that you have non-insured motorist coverage. And of course, you're still going to end up having to pay quite a bit out of pocket.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, it ends up being totally on you.
The cool thing is they definitely don't have any insurance, so maybe if you have full coverage, your insurance company might pay it, but they're gonna not want to. You know,
Yeah.
you're almost better off for it being called your fault. One time, I was leaving my friend's property out in Northern California in the middle of nowhere, and I was in his truck. I was like doing a beer run or something, and I was in his truck, and it was stuck in 4-wheel drive. So I was trying to get it out of 4-wheel drive, and sometimes you have to pop it into reverse to pull it out of 4-wheel drive. So I had stopped like kind of at the top of a hill and went backed up, and this Mexican guy, as I was backing up trying to get it out of 4-wheel drive, came and plowed into the ass end of me. Didn't hurt the truck at all, but he was in some little fucking like 1995 Nissan Sentra or some shit like that. They just ripped it to shreds. Oh, but it was his fault because he ran into me anyway.
Hey, wey, no mames. No mames, mi carro, wey.
Right. But yeah. But he obviously didn't have a license, have like insurance and a license and all that crap, because he was. I'm sure he was quite illegal, you know.
Right.
And
Well, they don't have fake IDs.
yeah.
So
I don't know.
he could have given you something. It would have had somebody else's name on it.
There was nothing wrong with the truck. It wasn't even like didn't even dent the bumper or scratch the paint or nothing. So
Right.
it's a good fucking truck. What were you driving?
it was a Dodge Ram.
Nice.
Yep. I prefer Chevys and and GMC, but Dodge.
How do you
was my
feel about
second
Ford?
choice. Probably my third choice because it's the least American.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not the old school Fords.
I put Dodge or GMC over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking shame.
As far as old cars go, I'm still more in the GM and Mopar than Ford.
Yeah.
Ford really didn't. They're not my favorite cars.
I don't know. I've just got this kind of cozy attachment to Fords. I drove Fords for a long time.
Ford himself was based as hell, but
Yeah.
But there's just
my
something.
family's a big Ford family.
Yeah.
Like my grandma's side of my mom's side of the family is all Fords. Like all my uncles drive Ford F-350 diesels. I drive a fucking Ford Crown Victoria X-Police Interceptor. You know, for a long time, my mom drove a Ford Explorer. Then she had a Ford Fusion.
See, my mom had
a Jeep Renegade, which she loves.
Whoa, no Fiestas?
When I was growing up, it's funny you mentioned that. When I was growing up, first my mom had a Bronco 2, one of the small, it was in the 90s or something. But she had a Bronco 2, and that was the biggest piece of shit ever. And she sold that and got a Ford
probably
Fiesta.
Didn't have power steering, did it?
It did, but it was a piece of shit, let me tell you. And she had to sink so much money into that car. Finally, she was like, "Fuck it, I'm not putting any more money into this," because it kept like dying and shit. And the guy came to test drive it, and she was just praying that it didn't die on him while he was test driving it, and it didn't, and he bought it. And so then she went out and got a Ford Fiesta.
Excellent decision.
That was a piece of shit. Had all kind of electrical problems. She had to redo all the electrical and that shit. But I think she ended up giving that to my sister. And then my sister never checked the oil, and so just ran it until it fucking froze the engine.
No, women shouldn't be allowed to drive. Just Saudi Arabia has the right idea. Just don't let women drive, period.
She used it like a disposable sport, pretty much. Oh. But yeah. Then my mom switched to Buicks. She's driven a Buick since then, and never had any problems with them. I had
Did you drive older Buicks?
Oh, she's been buying them brand new these days.
Oh wait.
Well, she drove older ones.
Oh really?
For a while.
She's not driving like the old land boats, land yachts.
Fuck, somebody's squealing outside. But what she got? One of those Buick. I forget what they're called. One of those like crossover SUV things she's driving now, and the one she had before that was the same thing. She just traded it in and got a new one.
Well, you know, Buick are known for their crossover SUVs. So.
Do they make anything else?
Those old school Buick fucking land yachts are based as hell.
Oh, I love those. I had a what was it? I think it was a '99. What was it, a LeSabre? I think it was a LeSabre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the newer one. I'm talking about like the old 70s and early 80s Buicks.
Oh, those were great too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
how do we get on cars again?
Because we're guys, and whatever we talk about, we end up talking about cars. And Air Raid Siren isn't even here.
Yeah, Air Raid's not even here to start talking about what's under the hood.
Right?
I'm sorry, President-elect Air Raid.
Right. No, I'm President-elect.
No, I'm President-elect.
No, I'm Dirty Dan.
That whole president-elect bit just like blows my mind. It's just so fucking stupid, you know. It's such like a weak psyop.
I'm president-elect. You have to let me do my job.
Excuse me. This is the office of president-elect. This
Well,
matters.
the office of president-elect. You have to. I'm like literally pounding my fists on my knees instead of holding the steering wheel right now. I don't know why. I'm like talking with my hands, even though I'm over the fucking phone.
Like, we'll
But
just
yeah,
say
it's like the biggest baby shit.
it. Yeah.
It's the biggest baby shit.
So next time I drive by a Crown
Guys,
Victorian ex-police interceptor and there's a large man at the wheel banging on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Who it is.
I'm in my truck right now. I'm in my semi truck driving right now. So.
What kind of semi you got? Or is
It's a company vehicle. It's Freightliner. Yeah, it's a Freightliner Cascadia too. I think it's like a 2017.
Nice,
They're basically like the Ford
Freightliners are
Focus
good.
of like the fucking truck world. They suck.
Really?
Yeah,
Most
but
of
like they're not as
Freightliners are
cool.
pretty
I
good.
want a Kenworth W900 or like a Peterbilt 379 or something. Something cool and based.
Yeah.
You know, like an old based semi truck. Not one of these fucking fleet vehicles. Fleet vehicles are gay.
Right. You want a Frenworth.
Yeah, Frenworth, dude. I would literally get all the badges on that truck replaced to say Frenworth on them.
Right.
Or Fren built.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Trucker Friend has the Fren built,
No.
so you could be the Frenworth, and you could
Yeah.
argue over which one's better. So what else was going on today?
Right
There
now
was
I'm the
some-
Friendliner, but
the Friendliner.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw something that
Yeah.
I thought was really funny. This article from The Hill. The Michigan Attorney General Trump's lawsuits insinuate black people are corrupt.
Yeah.
Bro.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how did I forget about this one? This was like one of the most awesome stories. Florida fucking, was his name DeSantis, the governor of Florida there,
Yeah.
signed a bill where you can shoot looters and rioters that are going after businesses.
Riggers and joggers.
Yep. And of course it was
So when
hilarious
they
because
try
they're
to
like,
break into
oh,
the
this is
Zog and
racist.
Jog."
They're gonna let white people shoot black people. I'm like,
Right.
so you're admitting
It's mostly
that-
fucking black people affected by this.
right. Like, so you're
Black
admitting
businesses are the most affected by looters.
right. That's basically
Yeah.
what I was saying. So you're admitting the black people are doing all the looting, and white people,
Right.
white people are losing their businesses.
The amount of times that they accidentally show their hand like that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
Oh, all of these frauds they're only in cities with large black populations.
Right?
Yeah.
Just happened to be. Yeah, all these
Tell
cities
you.
where they're finding all this election fraud. And they show pictures of them, and there's, nothing but darkies, so.
Like, oh, these crimes are all being committed by blacks. Yes. Head to the side. Yes.
I think that's got a rep because on top of the BLM riots and shit, and this fucking critical race theory crap, and all this other bullshit they've been pushing this year so hard, that after seeing them, all the riggers trying to steal the election and shit, and you can't miss what demographic it is doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
What do Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Detroit and Milwaukee have in common? You know?
Well, that's what makes it so funny is like they can't deny it. Like you can't ignore the demographics of where this shit's happening.
Yeah.
So they just have to try and in before it and trick people into thinking that they're racist if they notice that it's all blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like, oh, there's not even fraud. And if there is, then you're racist.
Well, they gatekeep way before that. On their sides, they're saying that they're still saying that these are peaceful protesters on their way to the polls or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
like what's so violent about a group of black men marching to the polls to express their democratic right?
What's so violent about a group of
Why are
black
they breaking
men?
shit on the way over there? Huh?
Yeah,
Tell
just
me
stop
that.
right there. Yeah. I'm gonna
And then
stop
you-
it right there.
And then you just like show them one or two videos from like Andy Knows page, and it's just like the conversation ends right there.
Yeah, the million redacted March.
Yep.
You know, it's so funny how they will say one thing over and over and over again, and then just change it when it becomes convenient. I was seeing all over Facebook people saying, just so you know, the Trump tax plan has it set up so your taxes will go up during Biden's presidency. So don't blame Biden when this happens. And
Yeah, they already said that.
yeah, which is fantastic because I mean, number one, we all knew that the 2017 tax bill, in order to get it passed without Democrat approval, they had to make it temporary.
Yeah,
And
he knew he was gonna have to redo it again.
Yeah.
In the second term. That was not a surprise.
But it doesn't matter because all over the news, what were they saying? That your taxes are not going to go down. Your taxes are not going to go down.
Yep.
Well, now the narrative has changed that.
Oh, your taxes are going to go up. Yeah. Yeah. Now, because they went down and everybody saw that, and then so now they're like, "Oh, your taxes are going to go up, but it's all Trump's fault."
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh
no.
My God. All right, so Princess Keck had sent us something in the D-Live chat here. That there's a joint statement from Elections Infrastructure Government Corp. Here, I'll read the tweet first before I read this headline. The DHS, a cybersecurity agency, released a statement on presidential election. The November 3rd election was the most secure in American history. There is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised. That does not make any sense. I don't believe that. DHS cybersecurity agency said that, huh? Because that's that's definitely not what everybody else is saying. The November 3rd election was the most secure in American history. Dude, are you fucking, like, oh my God, these are the people that'll piss on you and tell you it's raining. Like, seriously?
Yeah, I'm pressing X on that one.
Yeah. Big fat X on that one. That's the biggest load of crap I ever seen.
Bro, the chutzpah with these fucking claims, just like lying right to your fucking face.
Dude, the head of the Federal Election Committee said it's not. And he's been there since before fucking Trump. Like, he's not a Trump appointee and shit. I think.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's that lady. She's actually.
No, it was a guy.
Oh,
the
okay,
lady that was saying that, oh, there's no evidence of voter fraud. She's just she's like down in there somewhere. She's just somebody they could get that would say what she wanted. But the head of the FEC said exactly the opposite. He's been going on Newsmax and saying exactly the opposite, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I was seeing, I think it was Newsweek or which one, whatever one, it was saying that, oh, somebody in the Trump administration even says that there's no evidence being presented. And it's this lady from the FEC. And she's been on the FEC for the last 3 administrations, and she opposed Trump back in 2017.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's nothing new that this lady is basically a swamp creature and has no problem going on television to talk crap about the president.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just one, like, paper pusher somewhere, like middleman or some shit like that.
She was chairman.
Opposite. Okay.
She was chairman. I don't know if she still is, but she was chairman a few times. So
not sure exactly how it's structured, so I can't really comment that much on it. But
yeah.
But the dude that's been going on Newsmax, he's the head of the FEC. So
Yeah, man, Newsmax is great. I've had them on our downstairs TV for a few days now.
yeah,
Because it's just constant information coming in, and they don't pull any punches.
yeah,
They're not trying to be like fair and balanced or like pretend to be some like nonpartisan news organization. They're clearly a Trump station, but at the same time, they're presenting evidence with everything they say. They might pop in with some rhetoric every now and then, and they're not going to be as based as maybe this show, but
yeah.
but it's still good stuff just to have on the background.
Yeah, well, this show isn't exactly designed for mass consumption. Oh, we have a much narrower target audience there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and we're not on actual TV, so.
Yeah.
I'm the TV.
Thanks, Shake.
Yeah, thanks, Shake. Oh, and Air Raid. Oh, was it Burger Billy earlier was like, oh man, I accidentally said the gamer word on stream earlier, and I'm like, that's happened pretty much every stream so far.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed a certain number of them, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I know that
I just think the libtards haven't found my YouTube channel yet to report.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's just a matter of the people who've seen it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys do cryptocurrency at all?
Yeah.
What do you know?
I'm a developer of blockchain technology. That was what I was supposed to stream about earlier today, but that got postponed until tomorrow. I thought today was going to be like a crazy day because I had errands to run, and when I got back, I had to do the blockchain stream. Then I was supposed to have a meeting that would probably last right up until this show. But then the blockchain stream got hot stuff was coming on with me to do that one, and he was adopting a kitten, so that got pushed back until tomorrow. And then the meeting I was supposed to have, I was like, okay, and time came, and dude didn't appear, so I actually had a pretty light day, thinking I was gonna have a really busy day. So
what coins are you invested in?
I mean, mostly like
Dogecoin.
Mostly Bitcoin and ETH. Because, yeah. But
Yeah,
I think most of my money.
like
I think most of my money. Yeah, yeah. Bitcoin's doing pretty good.
20% since the beginning of this last month.
But I sink most of my money into my projects that aren't released yet, so
Uh-huh.
kind of all in on that one.
And then Ethereum's up 15%, and then I'm in Link and Chainlink, and so is Marqtosis. And I was hoping to talk to Marqtosis about this a little bit. Hopefully, he can come on a little later.
Yeah, it should be coming pretty soon.
Yeah, there's a big community on Twitter around Chainlink and the potential, and I'm getting some conflicting opinions about the potential for that particular altcoin, and I'm just curious what his take is on it. And he seems to think that we might be able to get some of the bigger investors in Chainlink maybe to come on the show.
That'd be cool.
So, so you're primarily in Bitcoin and Ethereum, though.
Yep. And Ethereum's mostly for so I have it when I need to do stuff on the Ethereum blockchain, but
Right, because everything seems to be built on top of Ethereum.
well, I'm gonna. That's actually what I'm working on. Is will make that pointless because Ethereum is really not that great. It was just the first one that you could do stuff like that on. And I don't like the idea of shoving everything onto one blockchain.
Yeah.
But the blockchains that I build can handle more traffic each one than Ethereum can. You know, more ops per second. And I give every application in the system its own custom built blockchain. So, you know, there's no way that this stuff is ever going to be you just be using a fraction of its capacity.
I'm curious
like
about crypto.
Everybody was using it all the time, you know?
Yeah.
I'm curious about crypto. What's a good one to get into right now?
Well, there's a lot of people that are going to tell you that Bitcoin is probably the best long-term investment, and there's a lot of good reason to think that because it has been so secure for so long, and it corrects every now and then.
It's the best store of value for sure.
Yeah, it's up to, as of today, it's up to well over 15,000. So it's on its way. It's on its way to the peak from last year when it reached 20, and it's probably going to surpass that eventually. The only thing is, though, is unless you've got a lot of money, while it is a safe bet, if you're looking to make a larger return on your money, like in the short term, you might want to look into some of the alternative coins, like Chainlink or Loopring, or even Ethereum. A lot of these altcoins are pretty much all projected to double in value by the end of next year. So, if you've only got a couple grand to play with, and you want to get the fastest return on your money, there's alternative coins that aren't going to be quite as expensive as Bitcoin. That being said, Bitcoin is going to be the safest bet.
Well, it doesn't really matter, like, how much the coin costs. It matters how much it's going to rise percentage-wise.
That's true.
Sure, you'll get a bigger number, like when Tron came out. So many people were dumping a bunch of money into Tron. Oh, look how many tokens I got. I'm like, but who, that's like an arbitrary number. What matters is how much potential it has. You got to look at everything, like, how many are out there?
Well, I mean, but like if you literally do not have,
yeah.
I was gonna say if you literally don't have the money to buy it, then there's no point. So you might as well go with the cheaper option because it's just like it's a matter of how much money you have now as well.
Well, my point is that it wasn't going to go up a whole lot either. That was my point, is that it wasn't going to go up a whole lot because they had some ridiculous amount. It was like quadrillions of them in circulation and shit. So sure, you put in $20 and you got like 2 million of them, but they're never going to be even worth a penny because if they did, they'd be bigger than the whole entire world's economy.
But I don't see Bitcoin reaching 100,000 in 5 years, whereas it's not unreasonable to think that Chainlink could go from $10 to $100 in 5 years.
Yep, Bitcoin has the lowest risk is the thing.
Yeah.
But like something like Chainlink, it could blow up. Something. There's a good chance it could blow up, and then you get some really high returns on it.
Exactly.
That's the, if you can get into the good ones early.
How
you're breaking up there, bud.
Say that again, Jamie.
Finn,
Say it again. You were breaking
Sounds like
up.
it just fixed.
how do you just
No.
No.
Uh-oh. They got him.
Finn? God
Yeah.
damn!
He's
Just
dragging,
go ahead and
so.
try reconnecting. Those Jews, they got him again.
Bro, it's the JIDF.
That's right. He's been turned into a speak and spell by Mossad.
Right? He's been rebel-fied, and not in the good way like Wally.
But yeah, I was kind of coming into cryptocurrency maybe a couple months ago with sort of the same curiosity that Jamie had, and that's that you come and you
That's
have
John.
literally. Oh, that's John. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're cool.
That you literally have no idea what to do and who to ask, and I just so happened to stumble into the Chainlink community on Twitter. There's a lot of crossover, and you kind of just have to learn by making some mistakes. If you've got a little cushion to play with, and you don't mind making a couple mistakes in the beginning, it's not a bad investment. But there is a lot of room for mistakes. Like it's not like opening up a stock portfolio with Wells Fargo where you can just buy and trade and sell all through the same bank with almost no fees. There's a lot of fees in cryptocurrency, and those can sneak up on you. And if you're moving your money around, yeah.
What I'm building actually doesn't have any
That's
transaction
great,
fees. I put
I remember
a whole lot of thought into this. So. It'll take
the first time I
at least a 2-hour
Fucking
stream.
bullshit. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
you're back.
Can you hear me now?
But yeah, it'll take
Yeah.
me
Good.
it'll take me at least a 2-hour stream to even
I think there'll be
to
a
where
lot
people
of
even start to understand what it is I'm building. So
Okay, anyway, I was going to ask, how do you cash that shit in? How do you cash in crypto and make your money?
You just convert it back to dollars.
Oh. Well, do I go to, how do I, what,
The best place
do I
to
sign
start,
up with my bank account? What do I do?
Yeah, the best place to start that I would recommend is Coinbase. So Coinbase is a great user-friendly app. It's got about 30 different coins on there to choose from, and it tracks them every day. It's going to set up a portfolio for you. And then once you get comfortable with that, maybe you want to experiment around with some of the wallets like MetaMask, Coinbase wallet, and there's other things that you can do. And Coinbase will teach you stuff too. Like they'll teach you about the coins that you can do, you can earn interest on.
yeah, I'll send you a link later, and then there's with Coinbase you set up your account, and there's you watch some videos, and they'll tell you about stuff, and you get free crypto out of it. So I'll send you a link later on.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I got $40 just yesterday in free crypto from Coinbase just from watching some videos, and it's useful too because then it shows you different avenues than just the typical Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I'm kind of curious about right now is the interest side of it right now. Maker, that's one of the altcoins that you can borrow
Somebody's
with.
got their Itachi on the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maker's pretty interesting. I have a problem with these quote unquote stable coins because there's they all have the same thing when you try to like peg it to an asset, but that's not doesn't actually represent that asset stored somewhere. Especially with crypto, because if there's a big crash in crypto all of a sudden. There's no way that they can actually. Yeah, there's no way that they can actually make it 100% where that's going to be covered. You know what I mean? Those systems can break down if they. Is that better, Aaron? Turn my gain down a little bit.
Yeah, and who keeps clearing their throat?
That's
hella hard.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry that I have allergies to Jews. Okay, I'm sorry.
Whoa! There's a Jew here?
Somewhere, probably on the fucking highway next to me or some shit. I don't know.
Maybe that.
Well,
check the back of your truck. You might have a stowaway.
It's so cold back here.
Holo.
You hear that faint kvetching coming from behind you? Hola.
Try not to hit so many bumps.
Oh, there was something I wanted to talk about that was really cool that happened today, and I forgot what it was. I think we're boring people to tears with all this crypto talk. It's not very exciting.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. Like, I've got a Coinbase. I got it for like a one purchase online and haven't really messed with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been into it. I've been into it since 2010.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I would have like paid attention from the beginning at this point, but yeah,
it's not too late. Plenty of money to be made, and it's probably going to become a bigger deal too. One of the reasons that it started going up last month, it wasn't because of the election. It was because the Federal Reserve said that they were going to start working in blockchain, and then also PayPal said that they're going to start supporting Bitcoin as well. So it's not going to be going away. In fact, it's just going to start becoming a bigger and bigger part of your life.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people think that they want us to have a cashless society, that they want to work us towards that.
Well, but they want to do it different because, like, all right, we got to think of something more exciting.
I was going to ask
because we're losing viewers left and right.
All right.
It was just like more.
All right.
There is one thing that I wanted to bring up. It was that China UN bit. Hold on, I gotta pull it back up. My fucking pages keep dying.
That was nuts.
The China UN.
It's so fucking funny.
What was the China UN bit?
Okay.
Hold on, I think I've.
Yeah, you put that in the chat.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Let me scroll up and grab it. Sorry.
That was amazing.
It's so good. Like the balls on the chutzpah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. The Chingspa. So China, newly elected to the UN Human Rights Council, blah blah blah. Here's their bit. This is all in quotes. This is from the Chinese at the UN, right? China wishes to recommend the U.S. 1. Root out systemic racism. Address widespread police brutality and combat discrimination against African and Asian Americans.
And Asian too, because they had to throw that in. Because
Number 2, urge politicians to respect people's rights to life and health and stop politicizing the COVID-19 pandemic.
You mean the China virus?
Right. Eliminate social equality, combat the increasingly severe religious intolerance, and xenophobic parties.
It's just the fuckers who have concentration camps loaded with Muslims.
Thank
Oh,
you.
God.
Exactly, dude.
goes
Number
on.
5.
You gotta be shit, man.
This one that really gets my jimmies rustled. Stop incarcerating migrants, including migrant children, and guarantee the rights of migrants.
What does that mean?
Why did they say including migrant children? Like, dude, you can say migrants. It means all of them. You don't like that's proper. You know what I like? It's just so blatant, like on its face. You know what I mean? The psyop that they're doing here.
Yes.
Address proliferation of guns and guarantee people's right to life.
Can you think of a more semantically
Stop torture.
well-worded statement?
Howdy, folks. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hey, what up?
Yeah.
Welcome, President-elect Air Raid.
All right, we have one leaf in the house.
Came right in time. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing.
And then the last
China
one
list.
here. Yeah, the last one is probably the funniest. Stop interfering for political reasons in other countries' internal affairs under the pretext of human rights.
Yeah.
Oh,
Literally,
Rich.
they're
You mean
doing.
what you're doing right now? What you're doing, Chicky?
Oh my
Talk
god.
about gaslighting,
Retard.
right?
Amazing.
Bro, it's pretty fucking wild,
This is a
honestly.
practical joke.
Hey, have you ever seen that
This is
Chinese?
fucking
It's like a
April
laundry
Fool's joke.
soap commercial
It's just
where they
Yeah.
he tricks
Yeah.
the black guy
That's what
into
the-
getting into the washing machine. And he comes out Chinese.
yes, I see that.
That's a good one. I like that.
Oh,
You mean he
need
comes
to
out
treat black
clean?
people better.
He comes out clean.
You will be nicer to black people.
Comes out Chinese.
They watched the Game of Word right off him, man.
So
Watch the redacted right off Oh, now I want to hear.
Oh,
I
it's so
can't wait to
cursed.
hear North Korea's statement on it next.
yeah.
Because they're on the Human Rights Council.
Now I just wanna
Why
say
are
though,
black people?
I just
throw
wanna
them
say,
into
though-
Jewish.
what the wrong reaction to this is to go into the replies and start complaining about how racist China is. That is the wrong reaction.
Tiananmen Square, Tiananmen Square, Tiananmen Square.
Yeah.
Taiwan number one. Taiwan number one.
Yeah.
Taiwan is the true China.
I should post that Chinese
There's-
laundry soap commercial and be like, China.
Oh,
this,"
yes.
And then be like, also China.
Yeah, post it in the thread.
Oh, we did that a few shows back. We were laughing at all the because they were putting together the human. It was like Iran.
Saudi Arabia.
I don't even remember who all was on it, but North Korea, Iran,
Pakistan.
Yeah, Pakistan was saying
Pakistan.
that we need to be more.
Yeah.
What was it? Inclusive to other religions. Yeah, Saudi Arabia is saying we need to be nicer to gays. Like seriously,
please teach us how to love.
right? Where they like throw
Yeah.
gay people off the roofs of buildings and shit, dude.
They cut their dicks off.
Right? I'm not saying.
Oh,
well, I
really?
mean, hey, they cut
Yeah.
their own dicks off here, but you know they pay
Yeah,
for
well,
that shit here.
Dick cutting seems to be a thing.
Yeah, maybe they're doing them a favor, you know. Yeah, let me take care of that for you.
Oh, trans rights.
Oh.
No, we don't want to
I gotta honk really quick. Hold on. Fuckers.
All right, honky.
Not moving.
Based. We don't want to.
He's
we
fucking,
don't
and they're fucking. Yeah, dude. He went in the washing machine and they washed it right off of him.
Awesome. No, we don't.
Everyone's just wondering, why the fuck is this guy honking so much? What the fuck?
I'm getting out of the way. What do you want from me?
Damn Asian drivers.
Hey, man, I don't have a license, man. What do you want?
Hey, never trust a driver that you can blindfold with dental floss. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, we gotta do the racist to watch the driver. Oh, you want to honk or you horn? Oh, well, it would be a shame if I just slammed my tiny little car into your giant truck and did absolutely nothing to your vehicle.
Okay, honky.
It only killed myself and other people.
Peeper.
Oh.
Peeper. The way they say peeper is funny. Peeper.
Well, they don't like semi trucks though. They're anti-Semites, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Like if you hate semi-trucks and you're a fellow anti-Semite.
This oppression of truckers needs to stop, damn it.
Anti-Semitism needs to stop.
Anti-Semite. That's great.
Hey, chill with the anti-Semitic remarks, man.
Well, what I wanted to say was that you look in the responses to this UN thing, and the replies are almost as troublesome, because everybody's coming back and saying, "Oh yeah, well China, you're the most racist one of all," and
yeah.
And so that's the wrong take. You know, the wrong take isn't a race to see who's the least racist. You know, this isn't
right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Beltway conservative response to every accusation by the Democratic Party, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
so,
the real racists.
Exactly. No. Yeah.
Like
so.
CR3.
Obama's presidency made people more
China,
racist.
the real racist.
Yeah, Obama's presidency made people more racist because, like, before Obama, we were almost like in a post-racial society. And then Obama came in, and the honks started showing their nuts. And but since Trump took office, like being called a racist so much, just it doesn't even affect us anymore.
Yeah, it needs to just needs to just roll right off the bat.
We embrace it now, assholes.
Yeah.
I am the biggest goddamn racist on this planet. No one is more racist than I am, sir. That is stolen valor to call yourself a racist when I'm here. Stolen valor.
Sir, you humbled me.
Racist.
You humbled me with your hate.
I'm not using computer audio. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're fine.
I just see the XSplit thing on my screen. I'm not sure if that's
Maybe
broken or
turn
not.
your mic down just a little bit.
I can do that.
All right. And Marqtosis is.
Well, we're like one race riot away from blackface being stolen valor, pretty much.
Right. To answer your question, Wally, it's me. I'm the Walrus. Marqtosis just joined. Steve Z's with us. Jamie Borch, Johnny Ketamine, and Raid Siren.
Welcome, President-elect Marqtosis, to the chat.
Another leaf claiming to be president-elect when I'm president-elect.
Well, I mean, who's in the
I'm
office?
president-elect.
Marqtosis and I are the foreign branch of the president-elect
The
office.
foreign contingency.
All about who can print the most ballots. I mean,
I unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to dip out here. I got some
Okay.
some schoolwork to attend to. But before I go, I just want to say, the right take with this China thing is to go back at them and say, you of all people should know better than to say something like this.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
value the social cohesion that you currently have, and
Yeah.
and if the tide turns against you for saying statements like this, you'll never stop regretting it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to get that out before I bounce. But you guys have a good rest of your day. Marqtosis, I'm sorry that we didn't get to chat more, but I'm sure we'll get more opportunities.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, guys. Take care.
You both always have a
Take
standing
it easy, bro.
invitation, so.
Thanks.
Cozy, friend.
Later, Steve.
We need to start like hiding guns in any product we make. And I know we don't make a lot of products that China buys. I mean, for God's sakes, we barely make any products that the rest of the world buys.
But we make
for
food.
the very small,
we make food. We make one of the most important products there is.
So in the food packaging, we should put guns and ammo, like a gun and a box of ammo, and every food. So like when a Chinese person opens up their fucking thing of Kraft mac and cheese, they find like a pistol or something, right? And that way, like, I can cure these communist government employees. Now there's
I can kill some people.
With guns. Yeah.
Don't trust China. China asshole.
Just cause a bunch of shit now.
Make sure we send it to Hong Kong.
Yeah. Why? I wonder why. The communist Chinese government wouldn't want an armed population. I wonder why.
We did it with occupied France with the Liberator pistols. Why can't we take here's a perfect idea. We can't fly a military aircraft over China. That would be suicide. What do? How about an airliner? Like a United Airlines, whatever. Just coming in, it has passengers on it, but then all of a sudden a secret compartment opens up and a bunch of packages come flying out of the ass end of that thing, and they all have guns and ammo in them with instructions on how to use them written in chink.
If they got wind of that, there would be an unfortunate accident, and they would fly one of their airplanes full of their people into it just to knock it out of the air. I mean, they don't care.
Just to make it
in
easy.
fact,
put afterburners on the fucking. Put afterburners on our jet so they can kick them in and go fucking faster. Stress that airframe. I don't care how much it fucking stresses that airframe. Fucking push that thing to 700, 800 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You're gonna have to make an American.
Why is it just an Airbus A380 going like 900 miles an hour?
You're on a commercial flight, the whole frame's shaking. It's like, oh, this is great.
It's like, we're pushing it. It's the fucking Guinness World Record for fastest commercial flight on a non-fucking supersonic airliner. Like, well, we're about to go supersonic. We don't know if it's gonna rip the fucking wings off or not, but fuck it. We're Americans. Let's see what happens. It's going like 5 times the
down
speed
the
of
whole
sound. Like, it shouldn't be possible.
Maybe it's doable.
Yeah.
We'll look into it. We'll get our people on it.
Yeah, let's all use like acquired weapons over the past like 50 years from like our wars with like Vietnam and shit. So, or like weapons that are like not automatically like recognizable as American, and then.
Well, that stuff is already gone to Mexico
so
now,
no
hasn't
way
it?
To trace them back to us. Yeah,
that's all been shipped down to Mexico to the cartels.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to get some more.
Yeah.
Well, aren't the factories in Mexico for the most part now too? So.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
They just stay there, or maybe they ship them back so we can smuggle it back across the border and cocaine or something.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah, they got to buy them so that the Mexicans get the cash, and then they've got to make them go missing and then ship them back and give them to them, right? Like it's how are they going to spend all that big CIA budget?
Well, it's like China all the raw materials are getting like we sell them all our old. Actually, I think they're still working on the first batch, but we sold them like all of our old warships and stuff like that, so they could.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So they could scrap it and turn it into crappy products to sell back to.
I know what.
Send back to us.
a shit ton of shipbuilding and ship decommissioning has been going to India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of wrecked ships are getting cut up there.
That makes sense.
I don't mind the Indians having them because the Indians aren't hostile to us.
But they're dumping everything into the ocean and just and they're not beneficial.
Fuck the ocean.
They're hostile in the way that they're sending their people over to destroy our countries, right? Like,
true.
And even if they don't mean to, that's what's gonna happen. Maybe if the Indians are sitting there going like, "Oh, we love them so much, we're gonna send a whole bunch of people over there because we love the Americans," and then they destroy your country.
Well, we don't.
Canada.
Well, no. Here's the thing with Indians, though. We don't have to worry about one of them trying to behead people for showing a picture of Muhammad. You know?
No, that's true. That's true.
That's a big plus.
Just worry about them using the toilet. Adoish!
Oh,
Yeah.
here's
my
here's
God.
something I saw today that pissed me off. That the EU is trying to start some things where all the encrypted messengers and Telegram and Signal and stuff will have to give them back doors into all their shit. They say it's because of all the Muslim terrorist attacks and stuff. You know,
Well, yeah, a lot of them
going
use
on.
Telegram and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But hey, I think there's an easier solution for that.
No, there's a much easier solution.
Yeah, kick them out.
Yeah,
Kick them out.
you gotta go back.
It says here you're
Round 'em up,
14. Why
kick
the
'em out.
fuck do you have a beard?
It's like you know why they don't have terrorist attacks in Bulgaria?
Yep.
I can't imagine why they wouldn't.
Because they kick them right out.
Yeah.
Didn't the president of Poland brag about president of Poland was bragging about having zero terrorist attacks and not taking any refugees and all that?
Yeah.
He was on interview or something like, and you're telling us that you're not taking any immigrants in? He's like, no, not one. Like,
Not a single
smiling.
Yeah, Bulgaria's kind of like that too. There was a big thing like about 5 years ago. This vigilante hunter, dude's spaced as hell. That because Bulgaria borders Turkey, and so you'd think we'd be the first place they'd go, right? But
Yeah.
they
I'm gonna need someone to unmute me in the chat because apparently I can't even give you lemons if I'm muted.
huh?
I need to be unmuted in the chat because apparently I can't even give you lemons if I'm muted.
How are you muted?
Yesterday from my emote spamming, showing you guys all the
There
appoos
you
that we
go.
had.
Now you're unmuted.
Perfect. There's a lemon for you.
Didn't I give you the? There, now you're a moderator, so you can't be muted. How about that? I don't mind spamming emotes.
It might have been just a D-Live thing where it just does it automatically because I was going ham.
I think Aaron did it actually. Cause what's the fun of D-Live if you're not gonna spam emotes? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect. The one and only I need. There you go.
I'm gonna spam some emotes myself. This one's my favorite. Oh, I like this little one too with the guy on the goose. And then people watching on YouTube have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
What are these? What are these emotes he's talking about?
What emotes? You gotta. That's a D-Live exclusive. You gotta come to D-Live because I'm not gonna be on a YouTube long. I can guarantee that. Let me see if I can. Did that help? Did that help? No, that's too quiet. Did that help?
Who are we talking to?
No, they're
Yeah.
telling me I'm echoing, so I'm trying to fix it, but
I'm not hearing too much echo.
I'm not hearing any
Our
echo.
side, we're not anyway.
yeah, on our side, we're
Yeah,
not
you
getting
sound
it.
good.
It's on. It's on the stream side.
Are you playing audio from both streams?
Well, I got headphones on, so it shouldn't be picking it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
you sure it's not coming through your computer?
It shouldn't. It might be just bouncing off the wall and everything, and it's picking that up. How bad is
Maybe.
it? Is it like real bad?
I don't know.
Okay, fixed now. Yeah, I just had to turn my gain down a little bit, I guess. So, okay, that's the type of quality content people come for, so they can
Making sure that
listen to me fix my audio.
It's a staple. It's a staple of the Fren report.
Right. Experiencing technical difficulties. Please hold.
Well, there was that one thing I saw on Twitter. I actually wanted to bring this up to you guys. Did anyone see that honeypot thing on Twitter where they had, I think it was like an open Wi-Fi, and they went to all the protests and rallies, and then they made a huge data map of all these different people, like this huge
Yeah.
mind map thing.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, the guy who originally posted got banned, and then I'm looking for the retweet that I saw. It also got banned, so I'm trying to find the other one.
I think I have a link to the archive of it. I'll try and find that, and if I do, drop it in the group chat. But yeah, that shit was wild.
I'm sure I can. Let me see. I bet I can find it somewhere.
The mind map is pretty crazy. The little map he made of all the connections and all the people that connect to different people. It's just mind-boggling.
The fact that they banned it, that should automatically make Jack guilty of aiding and abetting domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, is if they just like deny that that it's terrorism, you know what I mean? They can trick enough
fuck,
people.
Fuck the denial. Trump needs
Well,
to
no.
just say fuck it and just arrest these people.
Yeah, I agree, but you know, God, like half the fucking country has been gaslit into thinking that, you know, not only that they're not terrorists, but that they don't even exist as a group.
Yeah, they're not. They're just an idea. An idea. You know.
Yeah.
that-
Well, they wrote a letter to the president saying that we're not an organized group. You know.
they organized. They got together. They're a leader. They had a vote on who's going to be a leader, and that leader sent the letter in. We are
Right.
not organized in any way.
Yeah.
And if I got that letter, I'd be like, I don't disagree with you. That was very
Just like what blows my mind, dude, is that like I know that the people who parrot that Antifa's just an idea, like they don't believe that. You know what I mean? It's just
Nobody
that
believes
it's
that.
their
Yeah.
side, or at least they think it's on their side. They think, you know, so they just go along with it, which is pretty fucking sad.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Yeah.
the
really
mental
sad.
disconnect, that's just rampant nowadays. It blows my mind. Like I used to I was never a libtard, but I was kind of neutral. I just like pick the whatever position pissed people off the most.
Yeah.
It's kind of a born shit distiller way back in the day. And when I was a kid, it was the right that seemed so disconnected.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
the,
where
like
they
the
just-
Christian right.
you couldn't talk to them. Like you could not have a conversation. And I mean, I've noticed a huge shift in the past 20 years. Like I used to go to parties in my 20s, and we'd be talking. I'd be hanging around with art students and all these lefties. And my ex-wife is an artist, so I'd be at these like art parties and all that. And I'd get 4 or 5 beer into me, and I'd start talking about rounding people up in trucks and work camps and all this stuff.
I promise I'm not going to pull political.
At the end of the night,
promise.
at the end of the night, I'd have these like lefty punk rockers and art students saying, "I'd vote for you. You got to run for politics." I'm like, you got to understand. I'm like, I told like a lot of people, I'm like, you have to understand, I'm not joking. Like I'm not just a good public speaker at a party with a couple of beers in me and entertaining you guys. I'm telling you what I will do if you give me power. Like you people will be in work camps. Everybody at this party, like you're all gonna get lined up. Like it's not. You don't want to give me. I warned them. I warned
You
them.
might get a wage.
You're going to put them all in work camps rebuilding classic automobiles.
10 years later, yeah, hey, do something useful, right? But I mean, 10 years later, even like 2015, 2014, even around then, like you couldn't say anything anymore.
That was when it started with the whole woke crap, for the most part.
It seems
you
like
couldn't
the
say
end of the
anything anymore.
2010s.
And the SJW.
And I hate to say this, but yeah, Gamergate, as cringe as it was, ended up being at least, I think played a huge part in that.
Yeah, that's when the
think
sides
like
really got defined. You're either one
Yeah,
side or the other. It was Gamergate.
As much of a cringe movement as it was definitely the time where you got that huge group of people where it's like, okay, I'm gonna make some fucking money off this, whether they're fucking left or right. Like I lost my apartment, because of Twitter harassment or fucking whatever the case may be. I need money or GoFundMe. It didn't matter who you were, left or right. It was just shit on the wall at that point, and you could see it was just fucking crazy.
Yeah,
then,
because before that, most people were somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
Yep. And you didn't really talk about politics that much. You shit posted about whatever else. You know what I mean?
And it's funny. I know quite a few couples who split up all around that time, with the women going like hard left, and the men were just kind of like, I'm not even like I don't give a shit. Right or anything, but I just can't get along with you anymore.
Right.
Yeah. What's funny is that like they tried pushing too hard with like propaganda in video games, and I think that a big part of people like putting their foot down and saying like, no, we do not accept this, is that it's such a large like part of that contingent of that demographic is white men.
Yeah,
white men, young-ish, 18 to 35, whatever.
Because we're the smartest.
Well, that's why they wanted to push it through.
Exactly.
That
yes.
Yeah. Right.
Because we're the ones that they're afraid of. You know what I mean?
Well,
that is case in point right there as to why. Because instead of just gobbling down the fucking multicolored gay slop, people said no, and it turned into a huge fucking thing.
It's funny, like I saw it going on, but I wasn't connected in any way because I'm not a gamer. I didn't really give a rat's ass, and I didn't understand what half the shit everybody was talking about. I was more boomer 10 years ago than I am now. Like, I was like, watching we've talked about this. We're watching the conspiracy stuff on YouTube and watching the kind of verboten information videos that are no longer available, and I was kind of exploring some of the what they call like the European New Right intellectuals and all this type of stuff, and I was like, I don't even the general conversation.
Was that me that dropped, or was that you? I think it was me that dropped for a second.
I didn't notice.
Didn't even
if you didn't notice, then it was me.
Okay. Yeah.
But it started creeping in, and then through the shit posting that was coming out of it, because it got so entertaining and it got so big, I started meeting people like you guys.
Yeah.
And kind of getting drawn into the I got radicalized by
yeah, same.
by like I was
politically. The stream might be down. The stream might be down.
No, he's getting back from when I dropped for a second, but it'll be back up in a second.
Just needs a refresh, maybe.
They'll probably just come back on in a second.
Yeah. Continue. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was just saying I was politically really radical, and actually talking to some guys who were like, big shit posters. They weren't as politically radical as I was, but because they didn't really, it was a joke. Most of the shit that they put on that, and they said was a joke.
Yeah.
But the fuck you message was real, right?
Because I was already like a big conspiracy theorist, I've been into that since I was like, so I was probably about 14, and that was back before anybody was hardly,
Well, you can look at online gaming, just like if you've ever been in a voice chat in like 2005 when the original Xbox, I'm not sure when, but those Xbox Live messages to now, you go on any multiplayer game and everyone's fucking quiet as shit.
Yeah,
nobody's talking to each other. Nobody's doing anything. Half the time, that's how you made good teammates. Someone would call you the N-word, and I know you're on YouTube, so I'm trying to be careful.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Half the time you would do something sick, like a double kill.
That's why we call them gamer words.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't mean shit. What mattered was the skill that you did at the game. Otherwise,
right,
you were a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing, is that you would say it so that people would get
Yeah.
Right.
But
it might throw,
also
if they would
about-
get upset, it might throw them off their game,
And now multiplayer games are dead silent. I
Yeah.
barely find anyone that wants to talk in a fucking multiplayer
Because
game.
you'll get booted and lose your whole
Yeah, they'll ban your account for
they're
any
banning your
kind
whole
of thing.
account, and you'll lose all the games that you bought and everything.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
like lose their libraries, right?
Like I look at my Steam library now and I go, fuck, if I ever get like a Steam account banned, that's a lot of money just down the fucking drain.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons
That's why I don't do digital downloads. I always buy physical copies of the game, so if my
I was
account
about to
ever
say
gets
that.
banned, I can still fucking play it.
I never liked the idea of
have physical copies anymore. Well, I play PC, so. But we did have a question that I wanted to bring up though, because I think it's an interesting topic. But Ty Bayaga, probably didn't say that right, but on YouTube was asking the Million MAGA March if we think there's going to be a false flag during the Million MAGA March.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear you guys talk about that earlier.
I don't want to say yes or no because I might be put on a fucking list.
Right?
Yeah.
I could definitely see them trying to turn it into a Charlottesville 2.0.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's with that Proud Boy guy?
Oh, dude, that's such a fucking I saw that. The Proud Boys, Chapman.
Yeah, that was that's clearly bullshit too. You know
It's
what I mean?
clearly a fucking psyop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody had posted his like arrest record and how he just like gets off with everything.
Yeah.
What was that?
He got off. He got like probation for shit that other dudes are
Yeah, guys
sitting
would
in
get like
jail for.
years.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah, very
Like-
clearly. It does not bode well. Yeah, it's fucking spooky.
Yeah, and it's kind of the like the Charlottesville thing with we're gonna get all these people wanted to go and protect their statues and their culture and all this stuff. Then all of a sudden it turns into a alt-right movement march and shit's gonna go south. And I'm sure that they're trying hard to get something like that set up. I mean, they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely gonna. That's why we haven't done things like that since Charlottesville, because
and the preparation of
because if we were stupid, we'd be leftists.
Yeah.
But the you can see the preparation of tacking on labels onto the groups. Oh look, there's Nazis involved in this. Nobody's decried the Nazis are involved. It must be a Nazi movement. All these people, you know what this is,
Right.
Yeah.
The guy is going to show up with those freshly unfolded friggin' flags coming out, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Such
there'd
and
be people
such.
flying, 40s era German flags.
Mhm.
And
I wouldn't be
but
surprised if we
next to
see some
Confederate
Czech flags.
next to Confederate flags, which the two aren't even compatible, like ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm way more on the neo-Confederate side because that's about
Yeah.
because that
It's both racist.
actually neither one of them has to do with racism, and they're completely opposite political ideologies.
but I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that I never understood about the whole neo not your knees. They
The neon Yahtzees.
yeah, neon Yahtzees. Yeah, they don't. I've talked to a lot of these people over the years. None of them fucking get it. None of them understand that it's not. This wasn't some universal world. It's not communism. It was a German thing. It's a German thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all it was.
Yeah, it's not communism.
So
it's not.
you can't
Marxism.
run around flying that flag in the United States and then go, oh yeah, we're Hitler for Trump. It's like, well, no. I mean, maybe they would have gotten along. I don't know. If there was some sort of a time warp thing, then maybe they'd be buddies. Who knows? But they're not. It's not exportable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I
you
I
do
get
your own thing.
I get like
And they're
enjoying.
actually, they probably would be because they were both pretty populist leaders and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume that they'd probably be on pretty friendly terms, but they're not the same. Well, those obviously Trump and Hitler are not the same, but I mean the Confederacy and Nazism or anything like this, they're not. Once again, it would be like me in Canada flying a Confederate flag. It's not my thing, right? Like it's not my.
Right.
I don't have.
I mean, I think most of those people just find the aesthetic appealing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well that's what it is. But
Yeah.
and that's kind of my point. It's like going on. Oh my God, the rise of Nazis. Like no, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I hate Nazis very much. My grandfather fought the Germans in World War II. I think all the Nazis are fucking faggots. You know, a lot of like look at the way they fucking walk. Look at that. That's the most faggy shit ever.
I mean, it's whatever. It's a political ideology that, it's not my preferred one for sure.
Yeah.
But, because like I said, I'm way, like my family.
I mean,
all sides of my family fought on the Confederacy, you know what I mean? So I know,
Yeah. Once again-
I know
once again-
from our family history what they were fighting for, and it was against a very centralized government. It was supposed to be a way more decentralized, bottom-up type system.
Yeah.
That's what the
but-
Civil War was about, when they were fighting the centralization of the federal government into the powerhouse it is today. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, the German style National Socialism, that's incredibly centralized. It's the exact opposite of my political ideology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But on the other hand,
Yeah.
both are pretty nationalistic, and both are white positive. I'll say that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So there is there are the.
I mean, if
both
anything,
of them see
national.
a nation as a people, and not just lines on a map. You know?
Well, that's it. That's the base of their idea of nationalism, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that's kind of the most logical definition that I've heard. It's the people. It's not the land.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, you might have a connection to your land and this and that, but I mean, you could have somebody who's, 10 generations in from a southern state, and they've moved to, I don't know, anywhere. They moved to Canada, say, they still have a connection to the South.
Yeah.
That I'll never have because I'm not from there.
Right. But I mean, about National Socialism, it's more of like philosophical than political.
I mean, you can agree with the ideals and stuff of it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, but I mean, to call yourself a neo-Nazi and like you step around,
it's
you're
stupid.
Just, like,
It's
you're
stupid.
LARPing. You're LARPing.
stupid.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I was
So
I was
as
go
far
ahead.
as politically, I really agree with the Confederate idea
I was at
of a decentralized,
Yeah.
more decentralized in the states, or even because even in their system, like the counties, your local government had the most authority. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that you had the most direct involvement, and those superseded any other governments because they can be flexible then to accurately reflect the will and the needs of the people involved, and you start getting it on a big scale.
Yeah.
You can't really do that. You know what I mean? Now
Well,
they
you
were in
can-
different times and places too.
You can
because-
have different mixes, and depending on the it's also depending on the the greater situation, right? Like when you ended up in the South ended up in a conflict with the North, well, they had to centralize because they had to get together to build up armies
They
and
didn't
stuff.
centralize. They worked together, but even the way they were regimented, there was the
no, but you know what I mean. Like you have to have a certain amount of
Army in Northern Virginia and the
Texas,
the Texas, whatever. You know what I mean? And so they were still regimented that way, unlike our military now. They just shove you all. Well, actually, for a long time, like when my dad was in Vietnam, they did segregate the northern soldiers from the southern soldiers quite a bit in their companies. Like, because my dad was in a southern company and they had a big Confederate flag on the, on the command tent and all that good stuff because
it fucking based.
Because at the time they still kind of treated it as that they were still kind of almost a separate country in a way that's
that's funny from some of the stuff I've read about 1930s, 1940s Germany. One of the things that the military did was when they had conscripts, they'd move them to a different place. They wouldn't be stationed in their hometown. It was to get them out and have the whole national. We're all Germans. We're all together. Therefore, you should get to see your brothers over here and get to know them too, and know that this is part of your who you're fighting for type of thing. Whereas you're kind of saying that they're doing the opposite of the Kentucky guys fight out of Kentucky. These guys fight out of here all together, the same group, the same families, the same clans.
Because they were essentially state militias that were working together. While the U.S. side, the Union side, they couldn't even hardly get very many, at least in the northeastern states, the old states, New York and Massachusetts and all that. They couldn't get people to join the army to fight. If they went, the general idea there was, if you want to leave, you can leave. Who gives a shit? Some of the more at the time western states like Illinois and Kansas and stuff, like they got a lot more coming in, but one of the biggest bulks of it. Well, the biggest bulk came from the Midwest and Irish and Italians coming in because that's when they were coming in, getting away from, I think the Irish potato famine was around then and all kind of shit like that. So.
Why didn't they just learn the code?
Right? If they would have learned the code, they could have solved all this problem.
Yeah. Oh no, you don't have any potatoes. Just learn the code, dude.
Just learn the code, and you can buy potatoes.
Just write a potato script.
That's how it works, right?
Potato script.
It is. Before we leave the subject, I thought about this while I was at work. I was listening to you guys, and I was just thinking, because we're talking about Germany in the 1930s and 1940s. I'll talk a little bit about Germany in the 1950s. My Opa was still living there, and my mother was born in 1944 there. So she grew up. She spent her youth in Germany post-war, and she used to she stopped telling these stories altogether, but she used to tell me stories. She also took down a few pictures that she used to have hanging up, but she used to tell me stories about how her father would sneak out in the middle of the night for National Socialist Party meetings after it was banned after the war.
Right on.
Okay, I couldn't hear what you said because somebody spoke. He snuck out for what?
For party meetings, National Socialist Party meetings after the war. Like it was banned. You weren't allowed to be a Nazi.
Okay.
Denazifying Germany.
Yeah,
but,
in the 50s, that was a big no-no.
And I was just kind of thinking,
for obvious
once
reasons.
again, it's different time, different place, different ideologies, and all this. But
exactly, that's what I was saying. Because
what I was going to say is if the left gets any more power, we're in that same position. Well, we're banned, right?
Yep.
Like we're sneaking to like Fren report meeting. And I'm just thinking how ridiculous it is. Like the Apoos are getting together for their secret, political meeting, and they might get arrested and shot.
Oh my God, they're cozy. Shoot them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's crazy.
But like I said, like it was a big.
They're cozy.
They both represented what they were, their respective nations of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like at the time in Germany, a unified Germany was a very new thing. And when like I saw some idiot talking the other day about how, when Germany invaded Austria, they just gave up right away. And I'm like, you're a total moron. That doesn't know what you're talking
these people
about.
are.
Because
these people are.
Austria was considered. You couldn't have a unified Germany unless Austria was part of it, because they were considered,
well, they weren't just considered; they were German, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, like
there's
there's areas of northern Italy that were, the Tyrol and all that are, half German.
Yeah,
Austrians
had as much in common with Bavarians as Bavarians did with Bohemians or Saxony, or what I mean.
Absolutely. But I mean, once again, like you just said, it was Germany itself. The unified Germany was so new as far as European history goes.
But they weren't. Yeah, and that was a big part of it. And then so like when they were going into Poland, they've been fighting over those scraps of land forever, and it was.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
the Slavs and the Germanics were fighting over that going back.
The area my mother was born is part of Poland now, right? Like it's not German.
Yeah,
all the Germans are gone. The town was built by some of the buildings are still there that were built 200 years ago, 300 years ago by Germans, but there's no more Germans left.
Yeah.
But that's that kind of went back and forth for. I mean, it was part of Austria. Well, I should say Austria. It was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there's connection of.
Which is another crazy one, like. Because Austria and Hungary, they're right next to each other, but they're very, very different.
They are not the same people, right?
No,
it's amazing that the Austro-Hungarian Empire lasted as long as it did.
Yeah. Well, they actually could dominate because it was the unification of those two vastly different people,
But the Polish don't like lots of people, and the Germans don't like lots of people, and the French hate these people and that people, and it's just the way it is, right? So you kind of try to get your borders where they make sense, and try to get along with your neighbors, and everybody should be able to have their own place, and that's once again it goes back to the definition of nationalism.
Well, and then there was
a group of people who are similar, and
well, and there was like the Alsace-Lorraine going back into that, so it was nominally French, but that area was historically ungovernable because different people would say, "Oh, this is mine, France," or some Germanic kingdoms and stuff. But like, they're like, "Fuck you, we're Lorraine." You know what I mean?
But I mean,
we're our own thing,
Yeah, but you get places like Belgium, and they don't even don't know what the fuck they are. They're half Flemish and half Walloon, and sometimes it seems
you can take the French for that one too.
Well, that's another one, right? But I mean, these also there's still remnants of the old kingdoms and princedoms, principalities, and things like this, right? Like the Netherlands was. A property of the King of Spain, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, how did that even make sense?
What connection, what connection does that have with anything? And Sweden used to invade Europe, continental Europe, once in a while.
Yep, or
the history.
And the Danes used to dominate Scandinavia for a while. It
goes back and forth. It goes back and forth, but. You always the main thing is that you always end up the same people tend to stay where they are. The mass of the people tend to stay where they are, and the ethnicity stays the same.
Yeah, it was just different people would come in and say, "I'm in charge of this.
I'm your
now.
king now."
Yeah, no, I'm your king. No, I'm your king. Blah 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 blah.
Are you gonna stay? No, I'm getting the fuck out of here. But I'm your king.
But I'm your
exactly,
king.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be 10 countries over, but remember. You got to pay me.
I'm watching you.
And they talked about, they try to paint it like peasants' life was so horrible then. But actually, they had to work a lot less than they do now. You know
Oh, God,
what I
yeah.
mean? And they might not have quote unquote owned their property, but they owned it. You know, nobody was going to
Yep,
come take it for. They didn't have to pay a mortgage and shit. No, they had to give a.
Well,
They
if
had to
someone
pay
did come and take
taxes.
it, they would just go to the actual guy and be like, "Yeah, someone took our land. I can't make money for you." And
Yeah.
fucking, they're gonna come over there. Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of this.
Well, plus it's going to be like their neighbor that they grew up with forever.
Yeah.
You know, their families have lived next to each other for thousands of years and shit.
But that's another thing. Like there's peasant families that had as much right to the land as the lord of the land, right? Like there's lots of places throughout Europe.
Okay.
And I know
Yeah, these fuckers won't get out of my way.
I know the most probably about Germany than anywhere else, but I mean, there's places where the plot of land that a peasant family worked when the patriarch died, it was split up in his family. You couldn't like the Lord didn't go, oh, you're dead? Okay, I'm gonna get somebody new in.
Yeah.
He was stuck with that family.
I mean, my family was mostly Scottish, so we had the whole Scottish clan system, and it was differently organized. You know, where each clan had their own lands and stuff, and they had a clan chief, and
But it still kind of ends up in the same way, right? It's just a different form of feudalism, where you have it doesn't matter if you're voting in a chief or a clan chief or you get one imposed on you.
Well, it was a little different because it was more of a bottom up structure. You know, each family, the Scottish kings had to have, the clans decided who the king was. You know what I mean?
Yep,
that we're going to support.
That where they had elections.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
They had elections in German states, right? They would elect the prince.
Yeah.
But I mean, like not the peasants electing them, but the nobility would.
The nobility would, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, okay, you're going to be the. But you had to have the support of all the local guys, you know.
Yeah, you had to have the lords behind you, right? But I mean, back then it was might makes right, so you needed everybody on your side,
right?
Because who's your army? They didn't have professional armies back then, right? So who's your army? It's your lords, and your lords have to get their knights, and their knights have to.
50 guys in the tavern that I just paid. Those are those are the guys.
Well, yeah, there's peasant levies and all that back then, but I mean that wasn't the. There's an interesting story. There was a peasant revolt in southern Germany, and this is the 1500s, so the 16th century, and there was a guy, famous guy. They wrote songs and stories about him and all this, called Florian Geyer, and he was like a minor nobility, and he took sides with the peasants. So he brought to the war, armored knights, heavy cavalry. And that was until they got rid of him. He made a huge difference in the whole battle, because usually you have a peasant uprising and they kind of chase you out for a bit, and then you go run into your castle and they can't do anything about it.
Yep.
You get your boys together and then you rape and pillage for a couple of weeks, and there you go, no more peasant revolt.
You smack them back in the line.
Yeah, just think like one small group of knights, and all of a sudden the peasants are winning battles and chasing the nobility out.
Yep.
So you had to have that structure. You had to have your guy, and he has to have his guys, and they have to have their guys. Otherwise, you can't wield power.
Yep.
And there's always a neighbor waiting to come in. And I mean, like, that's still to an extent the way it is today, right? Like, if the United States, they do it a little differently, but the United States becomes weak, and you're economically taken over by China.
Well, that's why you see like George Soros, like, he funds all these left-wing groups, but he also funds right-wing groups that you don't hear about as often. Yeah. But he does, you know what I mean? And
I don't think we need to bring George Soros into this. I don't think he has anything to do with this. Yeah, I agree. I don't think George Soros has anything to do with this.
I edited anything to do with this.
I'm sure other people have too, but I edited that the clip from American Psycho. to instead of cool it with the anti-Semitic, to just cool anti-Semitic remarks.
Anti-Semitic remarks.
Cool anti-Semitic remarks. And I look on his face, it's awesome.
I like the one where they, I don't know if you saw that Cartoon Network one where it was just like, white people can't marry black people.
Oh, yeah.
And then they edited it around so when she
Kids
says,
be racist.
Yeah, kids be racist. Kids be racist. I'm like, all right.
Nice.
Like whoever made that, it's like you can't have thought that they're not going to meme the shit out of this, especially when you have a sing song. And it's just stupid people.
Well, here's the thing.
Nobody fucking says white people can't marry black people anymore. Nobody fucking says that. No one said that for like 60 fucking years.
I'm saying that all the
like,
time.
No one's serious when they mean it.
Like, by the 80s, it was not really a thing. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, maybe in some like smaller towns, they might look down on you a little bit in the South or something, but like nobody gave a shit. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't be putting burning crosses in your front yard. Or
No. But this is why the left
in the 90s. You know what I mean?
This is why the left needs a hammer to get anything done, because they're so fucking stupid. Like they say the stupidest shit it doesn't make any sense. It has no connection to reality, and people go, "You're joking, right?" And it would end at that if the left didn't have this hammer to push it through. This whole idea, like, okay, no, I can't tell that story because that'll dox me. Shit. I'm trying to think of a story that's. It has nothing to do with me, but it's relevant to the area. But okay, there'll be a story in the media, and it's like, gay guy gets beaten up in homophobic attack, and then 2 weeks later the truth comes out that the guy was a drug dealer and got the shit kicked out of him for owing somebody $10,000. It doesn't. None of what they say stands up to scrutiny, because if you go out in public and you go, you might have a couple guys, go, oh, look at that fag or whatever, but they're not hanging around the gay bars waiting to beat people up.
No.
Right? Like
I mean, they did used to still do that in the 80s and into the 90s a bit,
Well, they shouldn't have
it doesn't
stopped,
happen
but I mean,
anymore.
No, not in this day and age. The people who don't like it stay away from it.
Yeah.
They just don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And which has always drove me nuts about the slippery slope's a fucking lie, man. It's bullshit. It's a conspiracy theory.
Well, you can look to where we are now.
I watched this with my own eyes.
The last 10 years has been one entirely just big slippery slope.
Yeah.
In the 90s, like, oh, you don't like homosexuality, just change the channel, just watch something else, just don't listen to it, or blah blah blah. Now it's like you cannot avoid it. You cannot.
Yeah.
It
used to be, like, why do you care what
bake
grown adults do in their own bedroom?
Exactly.
Well, because they're spreading diseases and destroying our nation. But other than that, I mean, and they're like the majority of pedophiles.
But at the time, that seemed like a reasonable request.
No,
You're like,
absolutely.
okay, sure, whatever. I don't really care about your sex life as long,
And I've always had that.
But they don't leave you out of it then, because they keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
No, they have gay pride parades with people completely naked, swinging their dicks in the fucking streets during gay pride parades with children on the side, and it's like, what the fuck?
Degenerate sex parties in the streets and shit. Like,
and you can say, I don't care what you guys think about me after me saying this, but I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I used to go to midnight screenings at the local theaters when I was a teenager. Go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's lots of fun. It's degenerate. And the thing was, it was interesting and funny, and at the time especially, I didn't see what was being done. I didn't see the big picture. But the thing was, it was only good and interesting when it was degenerate and not normal.
Yes. Now that it's normal. What the fuck is the next step?
Yeah, there's no point to going to. I don't want to see that shit because I get it fucking jammed in my face all the fucking time. But now it's real. Now it's not a joke.
Right? Now it's not. Seems to be. They have to keep kicking it up every single time. It has to be something more like I'm pretty sure you guys have all saw that one where it's like a male stripper dancing for like a 5-year-old or 8-year-old at her birthday party, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That's like I used
That
to
is
joke around
Absolutely
and say,
disgusting.
I used to joke and say, "Oh, I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that like several years ago because it wasn't funny anymore. You know, and people
exactly.
actually like.
There are people like that are
Yeah,
just
they
that
actually,
sad and
like,
pathetic.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But those people are funny because they're dudes that say that they're women and they say
Right.
that they're lesbians, but then women are like, "But you have a dick. I'm not interested." And it's kind of funny to see them complain about how the fact that I can't get a woman even though I'm a lesbian. You're not a fucking lesbian. You're a straight man pretending to be a woman trying to get some pussy. Like, fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It was
Go take some fucking TRT. Go to your doctor and get some testosterone replacement, supplements or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you'll feel like a man again and you'll be fucking normal.
That was the funny thing. I remember it was like 98. They had the thing going around. 98% of men said they wouldn't date a trans woman.
No
so we'd
shit.
always say,
No
yeah,
shit.
2% of straight men are actually gay.
I was gonna say 100% of men wouldn't date a tranny, and then there's this, group of people that they kind of look like men. They want to date trannies. We're not sure what the fuck they are anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
male.
I'll admit there's some of them that are like legit traps. Like you can't fucking tell until it's too late.
No,
you see it on
absolutely.
Twitter all the
Never.
time. She's hot. That's a dude. And
Well, this is why
deleted comment.
Yeah, I would do.
Boba.
I had dropped
Boba.
the game for a second, but it sounds like I'm back.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean, I
the
gotta
only
say,
one having that
in
problem.
real life, I've never been fooled. Maybe pictures, but like, I've never been fooled in real life. That's for sure.
no.
I've never been fooled once I saw a face in an Adam's apple, but I've seen a couple from the side and behind, and they meant, oh well, that there's a good looking gal. And I'm, whoa, no, that's not. That is not.
When you have the shoulders of a quarterback, chances are there's something wrong there.
Yeah, you can't fix the shoulders. Even
Yeah.
if they get fucking facial reconstructive surgery, they can't fix the fucking shoulders. You can tell it's a dude.
You'll have
men and
these
women
giant
are
broad ass
shaped
shoulders, and you'll be like,
differently, that's for sure.
But there's nothing about sex that is so important or pleasurable that it's worth fucking going there, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I don't have a choice, I'll be single for the rest of my fucking life rather than do that.
Yeah.
Just saying, just putting that out there now. Like,
The
I'm not
reality
judging
is that's
anyone. I'm not
cheating.
judging anybody else, Vegas, but it's,
I am, but
do what you want. I'm not judging.
I mean, if you get me drunk enough and I'm too drunk to tell the difference,
Oh,
I don't know, anything can happen.
Well, you and Alex Jones, maybe it's just like husky men are okay with it.
I will say this though, like they try to make it seem like it's a lot more widespread than it is.
Oh yeah, it's a
And it's,
tiny,
it's
tiny
just a
portion
very
of the
vocal
population.
minority, and most
to
of
get
the
more
people
and
we don't have to
are
worry
not.
about it. Their suicide rate is so high. We're not going to have to worry about them for too long.
Yeah, it's like less
Yeah,
than
you know-
1%, and they have a almost 50% suicide rate. So like,
And
but they're like exponentially spreading it to younger.
but it's not even them though. It's not even them though. It's the people who control the media who are pushing.
Right? Yeah, you're right.
the
You're right.
media, but there's
But-
also like hormone disruption from all kinds of different sources in the food.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
processed food.
I'd be jumping up and down cheering that suicide rate number if it wasn't for the fact that those are somebody's sons, and what a shame. What a
Yeah,
shame.
it's really fucking tragic, to be honest.
I've changed my kind of view on a lot of things since I had kids, and it's just fucking like, stay the fuck away from my kids, please, Lord. Like, don't let them get to mine.
Yeah.
Don't let them get to mine. And I went from the point of like, yeah, fucking put them in the ovens. You're
Yeah.
like, you still like
There's ovens?
once they've crossed that line, you can't save them. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I have,
we can't glue your dick back on. We cut it off. We
it's
molded
too
it
fucking
into
late,
a
right?
vagina. There's nothing we can do.
To a gaping fucking
Oh,
stanky fucking wound in your crotch. Like, awesome, dude. Good move. Good fucking move.
Good for you, dude. Go kill yourself.
Have you seen those fucking? Have you seen those
faggot.
threads from like fucking 4chan and
Yeah. And she's
um,
like, I feel like I've been lied to, and like these people gaslit me into doing this.
We're
to
all
myself.
talking about
No
the same
shit.
And it's just
Twitter
like
thread
these.
that we saw.
Holy
yeah,
fuck!
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it
This
so
is a
sad.
Cult. It's a cult.
Well, they're
These people
vulnerable,
are
mentally
fucking-
ill people.
They buy into a lie.
Yeah, because they're fucking not
Yeah.
right in the head, and they should be fucking
And then,
getting help
and
at a
then
young
she,
age,
and
not
then
getting.
or he
Yep.
he was talking about how because he was talking about how the problems he was having with his surgery, they fucking blocked him on Reddit for being transphobic,
Yeah.
trying to prevent people from fucking
Yeah, think about that.
Unbelievable.
transitioning.
Yeah,
Are you
I mean, I
fucking
believe
nuts?
it.
Are you fucking nuts? They don't want people to know the fucking truth.
No, and there was one that kind of made a bit of news. I think they were fucking the Netherlands. But there was somebody had transitioned, had the fucking surgeries and all this shit, and was trying to get euthanized.
Yeah.
Because this is a horrible thing. I wouldn't want anybody else to go through this. I thought this was going to solve all my problems, and all it did was make things worse. And fucking please kill me. But they fucking they threw that story down the memory hole, man.
Hey, Shake, is my audio any better now? I've been dealing with this problem, and I didn't have it before, so I don't know why I'm suddenly having this problem. But
You sounded fine on my through the chat thing, but
everybody keeps telling me I'm echoing, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oy vey.
A little bit of reverb there.
Walrusberg is echoing.
My tinnitus.
Oh man, there was some dude who calling himself the Walrus on Twitter today. I got in a little Twitter
Fuck
spat
that.
with.
You son of a bitch.
Actually, somebody else had gotten a Twitter spat with, and I saw him, and I'm like, oh my god, and this asshole has to call himself fucking the Walrus. Like, you know what I mean? Fuck this shit.
Did you say that you are the walrus? Cuckoo, Kachoo?
See, I'm named after the. I'm actually named after the. Not the gay Beatles song. I'm named after the Alice in Wonderland character.
Yeah.
Ah.
The Walrus and the Carpenter. So. Different.
Yeah. Completely different.
That's why.
That was a lot of gamer words.
You fucking cunt! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Oh shit, my fucking mic isn't muted. God shit! God damn it.
Bro, you should just live stream yourself driving and yelling at traffic, dude. I bet you get fucking tons of songs.
I don't think anybody heard that, so.
It could have been a lot worse, though.
Yeah, I don't think anybody heard that. Oh, just put your phone like on the dashboard so it sees out the front window and just stream you like yelling at everybody.
I would unironically tune into that.
I would watch it too.
my kids were talking about their mother swearing once, and I was like, oh yeah. And they go, hey, you swear too a lot, Daddy. I'm like, oh, do I now? I try not to. And they're like, yeah, when you're driving, boy. I was like, oh shit.
What do you fucking mean? I don't fucking swear.
So I always
you talking about?
I'll curse somebody out, and then I'll explain to my kids. I'll be driving on after, like, you son of a, why the hell did you, blah, 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 whatever. And they're like, well, kids, that guy cut me off and slammed the brakes on. This is why Daddy's mad at him.
Don't drive like that fucking retard.
He deserved it, damn it.
You see, kids, that man is a gamer word.
Gamer words should not be driving. And don't get me started on
where's
the
the lie?
He most likely doesn't have a license.
Yeah. Kids, when you see an Asian person driving, you give them plenty of room. My kids will get woke just by driving with me.
Right.
What? I used to be friends with this kid in school, but yeah, no, I see how that type of people drive. I don't know. I don't like them very much anymore.
Like I said, never trust a driver that you can blindfold with dental floss.
Yeah.
Well, you're in Canada. They'll come and take your fucking kids away for that shit, won't they, over there?
No, it's not all that bad, but you do have to be careful to a certain extent. And there's been kind of times where things have been getting out of hand and shit. It's also different in the different provinces. It's kind of, in a way, Canada's like the United States. That the provinces have their own
different
child services, and they have their own education boards and all this type of stuff. But the Ontario one was getting really bad. We got stuck with a liberal, which is the same as your Democrats, liberal government for like a decade or more, and it was just like, it was getting crazy, man. There was a case where a kid had drawn a picture of his dad shooting a monster with a laser gun or something. And the teacher goes, so, what's this picture of? And, oh, that's dad shooting the monsters with his gun. And this is not a fucking joke. A SWAT team showed up at this guy's house and fucking kicked the door in looking for illegal firearms.
Oh, my God.
I'm not fucking kidding you.
Meanwhile, I can already see what the story was. The kid probably had a monster under his bed. The dad's just like, look, this is my
it was
gun.
Like a fucking
Pulls out
Nerf
a flashlight.
Gun.
Yeah.
No, he used a Nerf gun.
Oh, and
real.
He's just like, don't worry, I took care of the monsters.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The school, the teacher fucking brought it up with the principal, and the school called the fucking cops, and they brought in the SWAT team to bust this. Like, you think shit gets crazy down in the States with some of this fucking overstepping of laws and shit? Like, it's crazy here.
Well, I mean, that does happen here too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they had the thing about the
the red flag laws.
The kid,
red flag laws.
I'm just glad I'm not in fucking.
What was the thing about
United
the kid,
Kingdom, man?
What was the thing about the kid? And I think it was in Maryland, and during the Zoom school meeting. No, during the Zoom school meeting.
He had a BB gun.
Like a BB
technically,
gun.
your room is my classroom. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. This is in my fucking house.
Yeah.
You know?
What they said in Ontario is the school board, the head of the school board said we are co-parents. They're trying to set a legal precedent. And I was like, you're not fucking anything.
Yeah.
You're fucking glorified babysitters, for fuck's sake.
But they try to do that. See, that's the whole thing with the the school's encouraging kids with the trans crap and everything, don't tell the parents and all this shit. Like,
oh yeah, but they're also encouraging inform on your parents. Like, we're moving. Both our nations are moving further and further to a communist fucking state, and people are just watching it happen. It's crazy. And if you say anything about it, that's a crazy conspiracy. It's like, dude, look at your fucking look what's going on.
Yep. He's like, when I said,
we need to start putting bodies in the ground.
And it's 10 years ago when I said in 10 years it's going to be exactly like it is now. They told me I was a crazy conspiracy thereist then too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, and I was
right.
It doesn't being right. I've learned this a long time ago. Being right doesn't fucking matter, man. Right. It doesn't matter. And I mean, not even about political stuff. Like, I'm a smart guy, and I'm right most of the fucking time. And I'll use an example. Talking to anybody who's kind of that lefty mentality. When my kids were really young, my ex-mother-in-law is a speech pathologist assistant, and she was trying to explain to me how I should be teaching my kids how to read. And she's going, oh, don't bother wasting time getting them to learn the names of the letters. Just go phonetically. Right? And we're at a family dinner. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. She's like, well, I have degrees. I'm like, yeah, but I've got a much higher IQ than you. And I had said, anybody can learn how to speak phonetically. These monkeys in Africa, they have no written language, and they can have a language, and they can speak to each other, and they can come up with words, and they can do this stuff. Like basic, simple, brain function to do that. To read, however, you have to be able to recognize, and this is where IQ comes into it. You have to recognize symbols. and patterns. You have to recognize patterns. And therefore, I'm teaching my kids the alphabet. This is A. This is B. This is C. Before I even taught them what the letters sounded like. Recognize these letters. Read them back to me. Tell me that if I show you this symbol, you immediately know what it is. So anyways, the next week we're having family dinner over there, and this lady brings out literature from her department, and it goes, there, boom, I told you. I put it down, I read it, and I said, this says exactly what I just told you last week. Right?
Yeah.
So first off, she was a speech pathologist assistant and wasn't smart enough to be able to comprehend what she read from her own department. But the kicker, the thing that drove me nuts was she at no point did she ever say, oh, you know what, you were right. You know what you're talking about. I'm going to listen to you from now. That lady battled me for 13 fucking years. Never never gave me any respect. Never took me seriously. And I'm sitting there going like, I've been right every time we talk. You stupid bitch. It doesn't matter. They don't care.
Maybe
if
you
you're
should just
right.
call her a stupid bitch. Just call her a stupid bitch. Fuck it.
Well,
what are they gonna do?
Now it's okay.
What the fuck are they gonna do?
Well, now it's okay. But at the time, I was trying to keep peace because it was my ex's family and all that, right? But now I don't give a fuck. I'm like, who the fuck are you? You're that fucking annoying bitch.
Out that like reality doesn't really care what you think about it or how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of consensus. I don't care. I don't care if everybody else in the world thinks it's this way. If that doesn't necessarily make it that way,
But my kind of the conclusion of the concluding point of that is, you go talk to somebody who disagrees with you, and they think that Biden won the election and has stolen. You show them all the data in the world, and you're right. They still don't give a fuck.
Yep.
You tell them that little boys shouldn't be cutting their penises off because of this, and then you show them all the statistics. They don't fucking care if you're right.
Yeah.
They don't care. They've got whatever has fucking damaged them to get them on this track, and that's that, and nothing matters.
Like when I try to talk to my mom about stuff, like she'd just be like, I get like half a sentence in, and she's just like, "Oh well, I'm bald. I don't listen to any of that."
But Trump did this. I fucking love that.
She wouldn't talk shit about. She actually voted for Trump, but she'd be like, "Oh, I don't listen to anything Trump says though." She just hated Hillary so much that she voted for Trump. So, there's that. You can't even point out the obvious. Like, look, you pay less taxes and you make more money. Even like simple shit like that,
Yeah.
Now, this should be a fun next 2 months, finding out who the next president's going to be.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Never boring. That's why I'm like, okay. Start my YouTube channel or my MD Live now, and I'll just stream every day until we have a president determined.
Just keep covering the shit show.
Yep.
Somebody's got to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said I don't expect my YouTube channel to last very long.
Yeah.
So I won't be upset when they gas it. But, maybe I could pick up some people along the way and get them over to D-Live or something,
Well, while it's flying under the radar, you'll be okay. But if it gets any kind of a following, it'll be fucking shut down in like 3 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, that's what will happen is as soon as it gets any type of popularity, it'll be gone. But,
and I mean, like, when I started out on Twitter, I had like at maximum for like 3-4 years, maximum I'd ever get up to was like 300, 400 followers. But the shit I would get shit canned for was like, of course you got shit canned for that. Like,
right.
I should show you some of the screen caps sometime. Like I dropped up all the words. Yeah. And now that I'm, I don't have like a big account or anything, but I'm over 1,000, 1,300 followers, all that. If I sneeze, I get suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it changes big time. It's like that magic number. Oh, you're getting near this. Well, now we're on you. Now we're on you. Now we're watching you.
Which I keep getting back, like, I got up to 3,000 before they gassed me.
That's pretty good.
I'm getting close to, on Twitter, 1,600 now? So it's getting there. You know?
I've never made it past. I think I'm at the highest ever right now. I'm at like 365 or something. I usually get gassed around 300.
I'm surprised.
I'm at like 101, so I'm still a very, very. I'm like a micro account right now.
You're almost
I've never even tweeted a
my
game.
old account, Delectable Negro. My old account, Delectable Negro.
Oh,
I had
that
like
was you?
400 followers.
That was
Yeah,
you?
Delectable
I
Negro.
remember
yeah.
that.
Why
I
would
remember
that
that.
get
Yeah.
banned? Why would that get
I
banned?
named
Why would they
myself
do
after that fucking cookbook that like Sean King came up with. He was making up like back in the days of slavery, they used to cannibalize black people in the South, and they had a
Bro.
cookbook called the
Oh
Delectable
yeah.
Negro.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I'm gonna call my account now, the Delectable Negro. And I had the dude doing blackface turning around as he's getting arrested.
Fuck.
My profile picture.
There used to be oh shit, I can't remember his name. Never mind. There used to be DeMarcus, or what was his name?
Leibowitz.
Yeah. And he was always you know, always talking Ebonics and I'm so black and this and that and
Yeah,
fuck.
dude, I wish some of those guys were still on Twitter.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, the weird thing is I'm gonna say this. I'm probably more peaceful. I'm probably a little too peaceful for my own good, and I'll recognize that. I have faith in the black Americans of this country that the only reason they act the way they do is because they have been tainted by the communists and the Jews. I dream of a day where black people don't have to worry about being stupid because they're not stupid. They're just as capable as everyone else. They've just been treated shitty by the communists and the liberals. And the Jews.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you respectfully on that, but I mean,
I understand.
yeah.
But like I was gonna say, my sister's dated a couple African American gentlemen. All right, and I have to say they were gentlemen. They were actually.
No,
there was one dude who. There was one dude who grew his own marijuana and like had like a fucking PhD and like all this like weed shit. Sounds really fucking black, I know. But you could sit down with this guy and have a conversation with him for like 3 fucking hours. And he was like one of the smartest fucking people I've ever known.
Okay. Here's one. I used to, and this is funny because this is when I was living in Ottawa. I talked about this before about living in a Somalia neighborhood. It was fucking dangerous as shit. But I was friends with one of them, and he was smart, and he was cool and well behaved.
Yeah.
And he was, and the reason I got along, and because he was like an ethnic white person, is how his behavior was.
Yeah.
He had some different kind of cultural things. Like he wasn't religious, so he didn't get into that shit. He cooked some funny stuff, but he played videos and hung out and we talked about girls and smoking dope and video games and whatever it was in the 90s, right? And it was actually funny. There were 2 of them. One was looked like a Somalian. The other one looked like a short, chubby Somalian, which is really funny if you ever see one of those. He's a Djiboutian. Djibouti. It's like a little corner. Yeah,
I always laugh every time I hear
it's not
that.
a joke.
Djibouti.
Yeah. And it's like a little corner province off of Somalia where they're like clearly genetically linked, but they're short and chubby.
Yeah.
So I would always call him a Somalian and he'd get mad. It's Djibouti. I'm from Djibouti. I'm like, it's Somalia, dude. You're the same. You're just short.
Yeah.
Short and chubby, but but I mean, I would, with those 2 guys, not anybody else from their fucking group, because even if I knew them, I haven't met anyone else who are like these guys. I could leave my wallet with $500 cash open on the table and leave for 2 days and come back and it wouldn't have been fucking touched.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, and this does bring up a good point because they always pull this shit like, oh, you hate people because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't help.
Nobody gives a shit about the
behavior.
color of your fucking skin.
character.
You know what I mean?
It's behavior.
Yeah, it's 100% your behavior.
The color of your character.
That's funny. I was talking to my mom the other day. And I said that to her. I was like, because I mean, she said something about, "Oh, I'm not racist." I was like, "God damn it, dude, don't do that."
You
Yeah.
don't have to say it. The fact
Yeah,
that you're saying
okay.
it is a little fucking weird.
Right, I
But
was like, "You lose." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Mom, you
yeah,
lose
you
right
lost.
away. You
And
lose when you say that."
I don't think the answer is the opposite. Going like, yeah, fucking, I'm racist, but no, it's like,
Right.
fuck you. What do you mean by by racist? I don't know what that means.
Well, that's the thing.
I just,
That's
if
the
it's somebody
thing.
that you
They
care about,
always straw man the argument, so they're like, you're saying, they make up some shit they say you're saying. They love to do this, where they change the definition of words on you and shit.
Yeah.
And then they act like theirs is the right definition, even though they just pulled it out of their ass. And
I spent like 2 days arguing with some people on fucking Twitter not too long ago, and it was just a waste of my fucking time. But it's been going on so long. They had the ammunition of, oh well, we don't need to, explain it because this is what the right always does. They always ask for this explanation, and it's not because they want an explanation. It's because they use this as a weapon to discredit or blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, but it's an effective weapon because it's logic, right? Like you have to define your term.
Yeah.
So this guy posts this thing. Well, sorry, try to make this quick. This guy posts this article that he wrote, and it had like 17 definitions, and none of them were like a definitive, this is the definition of racism, but there were like 17, 18 different ways of kind of, oh, this is also racism, and some were contradictory and shit. So I spent 2 days just going with a guy going like, use your own words and tell me what this word means. And they couldn't do it for fucking 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So the
well,
whole...
Yep. Yeah. Oh,
sorry.
Okay. Well, so I'll let you finish in it really quick. I just want to say this. I want to say joggers and riggers, they're a lost cause. In order for like a black person to be normal, you got to nip that shit in the bud at a young age. So when we see all these joggers and riggers, they're a lost cause. Whatever happens to them happens to them. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, the only time you see a well-behaved black person is because they were raised right as a child.
Yep.
They had a dad
But Cable,
and a
Target
mom
is
living
reopening
together.
its looted stores.
oh yeah, dude, I saw that.
Oh yeah.
I just
With the black shoppers in
listen.
mind.
I guess
the black
I guess
shoppers
I'm
in
the
my
more
I was
piece-
joking about that showing up like
they're gonna sell
It's
Jordans
gonna be some
now.
real change.
Yeah. They might as well put boxes of Jordans out front of the door and say, come take them.
Yeah, no, I went the other way with it. Like, I showed the rows where they got all the merchandise
I just thought of
behind the
something.
glass
I just thought of
that
something
you
so
gotta get
amazing.
You gotta give them to pull it out.
Imagine
Put
like
trackers
a
in
shoe
the free
store.
Jordans.
So you know how in Florida they're going to pass that law that allows people to actually defend their property.
I know.
Yeah.
Based,
I want to see
fucking
like I
based.
want to see like a small mom and pop shoe store with the come and take it flag, but it's like a pair of Jordans instead of the cannon. Yeah, come and take it, motherfuckers. That'd be fucking
Soon as
based.
rooftop
for you.
Rooftop Florida man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Rooftop Florida man.
We're building a
Yeah.
team. We're assembling a team.
Well, I was
Florida
telling
man
But
on
you
roof of
notice they
store.
actually didn't really have any riots like talking about in Florida.
No.
Yeah.
Because Floridians are fucking nuts, dude.
But you also notice that you only had them in cities where the local population could be easily
manipulated by
right?
the liberals.
But the
Yeah,
only
but
place
yeah.
in the South you really had them was, Memphis, which is... The white people don't care because they don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Atlanta. White
Which
people
is a
don't care
shame.
because they don't live there anymore. They're like 87% black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'll say that you go in the deep South, like I'm talking the deepest fucking corners of Mississippi, and you find black people there. They're going to be some genuine motherfuckers. They're going to be some of the nicest fucking people you've ever met because they think they're just like everyone else, and everyone else treats them just like the same.
Yeah.
You know, like I saw one house. It was a black family out front, and they had a fucking Confederate flag on their fucking front porch.
Oh, yeah.
It
Because
was the
they know,
coolest shit ever.
that's the thing.
They know.
better.
Yeah.
They know what it was really about.
You also got to remember, like there were successful black people in the Old South, and there were slave owning black people in the Old South, land owning, the cream of their crop. Of course, there's going to be a smaller percentage of their population versus ours, but there's still going to be good, hardworking people.
It was a higher percent of their population, actually, than it was of the free white. The free black, there's a bigger percentage of free blacks owned slaves than whites.
Yeah.
Because it was a very small percentage of whites,
Yeah.
So, the ratio.
I did a little calculating. I wish I had it on hand. Somebody had posted, a Jewish person had posted something about slave owners, and I did a little 15 minutes worth of research. I was like, wow, it's something like 0.2% of the population of whites were slave owners, and something like 20% of the population of Jewish people were slave owners. Weird. It was less tribal people, but such a crazy difference in percentages. That's really weird. And of course, that
the ratio of the population that did it was obviously when the population's 90-something% white, then it's going to be a higher number. But if you look at the ratios, it's fucking night and day.
Yeah, crazy difference.
I don't know. I still would have. I would have been against slavery, not necessarily because it's ethically wrong, but because they had no idea what they were bringing to this country when they brought the slaves here. They had no idea the kind of problems they would cause us. I would kill every single fucking slave owner and slave ship operator. I just motherfucker, you have no idea what you're bringing here.
Whoa.
You are bringing a ticking time
remarks,
bomb.
buddy.
Well, okay, I'm going to say this, though.
You fucking kite. You kite.
Yeah. Like I said, it wasn't us that brought them here. To make that clear, we need to make that distinction very clear.
Yeah, I should say they had no idea what they brought.
And there's just one thing I wanted to say to add on to that, talking to your mom about racism thing. So I think it's really important to, if you're talking to someone you love, especially if they're a boomer, make sure that you explain to them where the word racism came from, because that's it's crucial. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Know what I talked to your mom about, but.
But yeah. Anytime you want to convince a boomer, that's a really good piece of information to give them. It's hey, this word is literally only there to demonize you, to fuck with you.
Yeah.
It was created by the communists in the early 20th century.
Yeah, it was Trotsky. Oh, and also they've made it even more so now. They changed, Merriam-Webster's changed the definition of racism, right, to include power plus prejudice instead of just prejudice.
Which is a crock of shit.
Well, guess what? Guess who's getting all the power now? Well, if the black people get too much power and they have a prejudice against white people, now they are the racists.
Right, but you're missing the point. Sorry, go ahead, Raid.
Oh, I was just going to say, it doesn't work that way because we exist, we have institutional power and racisms. It doesn't even matter if we don't have any power anymore. It doesn't even have to reflect reality,
No. If there's white people around, then the white people are oppressing.
Because historically you had it. So
but they'll even say that about South Africa, though, right? The whites aren't in power anymore, but because of systemic racism, white people they intrinsically have a power, which it's so fucking infuriating. These poor people aren't capable of doing anything themselves.
Which is actually funny, because if you think about it, they're actually arguing that white people are superior.
Well, they are, but it's the same. It's the same thing with the patriarchy thing, right? Their argument is women are not capable of looking after themselves or competing with men.
Yeah.
They come out and they say that they cannot, they cannot compete, and it's just a natural, intrinsic. It's a genetic, or talking about different groups of people. It's a racial thing, and they agree with us. They fucking agree with us.
Yeah, Yeah,
love how
dude.
the feminists and the trannies like go at each other about trannies and women's.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
rights.
it's hilarious.
I love the left eating itself. It's a fucking fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic
You guys saw
thing.
that video Kamala Harris put out right on Twitter of the like equity versus equality.
Yep.
It's like you're right. Yeah, they do agree with us. They're like, hey, blacks are dumber, so they need more help to be able to get where white people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like they equity is basically equality of outcome instead of equality of opportunity.
Yeah.
And
well, this goes back to like the whole like I always hear this argument against Americans particularly because of your Constitution, but there's something in one of your documents about all men being equal under the law.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's equal under the law. Well, because they hold that up. Oh, all men are created equal. Well, that's patently false. If you just look at that, they're treated equally under the law.
The idea.
I'm not equal to Ron Jeremy. How am I supposed to fucking compete with that shit?
Right. I mean, there's obviously some people are stronger, some people are smarter.
I don't have a 9.5-inch cock.
Does he? Is that?
Where's my 9.5-inch cock?
And you're not a Jewish rapist, I hope.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, that's true.
Isn't that redundant?
Yeah. But it's that idea that being treated with the same rules, which is the whole idea of that all men created equal under the as God under the law, however it's worded. The idea is that the elite get the same treatment. They can't get like the idea of it is that they can't buy their way out. If they murder somebody, they go to jail just the same as a poor person. That was the idea. But it's been twisted and contorted, and they go, oh, they don't really practice it because more blacks are in jail. And it's like, well, no, if they were honestly treated equally under the law, if we went by that, all people, you're
by that same,
you're solely judged by your actions.
Yeah,
there will be more black people in jail.
And by that same token, you see, this is how you can argue it with them, and you can be like, well, in that case, the men are, being whatever, because, there's like, what is it, like 75% of people arrested or 80% as men.
Yeah, but once again, they don't care because they'll just come out right and fucking say men are more violent than women. And I'll go, yes.
Yeah. Exactly. You just proved my point.
Yes, we are. We are more aggressive. We are more likely to be aggressive.
To get shit done right.
Get shit done, yeah. And
there was you've ever spent a couple days in the clink, like
Yeah,
I have. I've spent 6 days in jail before. Disproportionately, like it's not a question.
I've never been myself, but I mean, like, just think of your childhood in the schoolyard. The girls were over there playing fucking patty cake, whatever the fuck they did, playing skipping rope, and we're wrestling and punching each other.
Yeah.
We're climbing to the what's the first thing you do? You climb to the highest thing you can climb and jump off and, let's see if you break something. Like,
right.
Yeah.
We're clearly...
That's why men are better, because we are pioneers, goddammit.
Fucking right.
We are discoverers. We built this fucking country. Women didn't do shit.
Well, even if it's the most destructive, idiotic thing, we'll do it.
This is another thing, like, men and women, it's, we're different. So it's not even about, like, because when they try to say, oh, we want equal rights, where's the equality? Because, like, men before had to go do all the work while the woman got to stay home and all this, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was treating them as, it wasn't necessarily more, there was a give and take on both sides, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so with this, they wanted to be treated the same as men, not equal, because, we all know they don't really want equality. You bring up, oh yeah, we can start drafting women. Oh no,
that's down there,
guy. Then, you know what I mean?
Let's not get carried away.
With guns and stuff? No.
Which I agree. I don't think we want
Women,
to train
but we all know women in
feminists.
the military is a bad idea, general,
Yeah.
because look at what Kamala Harris did.
Yeah.
You're talking about that private
Kamala.
who's watched his fucking friends die, who's
Yep.
probably seen enough shit to turn turn a black man white. All right, and then you get some fucking bitch sleeping her way up to the fucking top while this guy's still a fucking E6. Are you shitting me?
Right.
Fuck you. No, keep women out of the military. Keep them out in every single fucking field.
In Canada, we've had all kinds of problems with this shit, and they've been, we're gonna have sensitivity training and blah blah blah. And guess what? You know what? I don't want a general that's had sensitivity training.
Right.
Yeah.
I want a
before
general.
we had all this fucking equality bullshit, because they like confuse the words equal and same, and they're not.
Yeah.
They don't mean the same thing,
Like, who would you rather have leading you into battle? That fucking whatever, some tranny fucking that you guys have down there. You know the one I'm talking about. He got in the fucking news for being a tranny fucking officer of some type.
The fucking that Rachel son of a bitch or whatever.
Doesn't even look remotely like a fucking woman.
The only
anyways.
people I want going into battle with me is somebody who has a steady high level of testosterone.
Or I was gonna say, or Schwarzkopf.
Huh?
Yeah.
You have a choice between that fucking tranny or Schwarzkopf.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna go with?
It is ma'am.
And by the way, if you notice, Schwarzkopf has a German name, and that's not a coincidence.
Yep.
Best generals, buddy. Best
carry
generals.
the dilation station into the trenches.
Well, like seriously though, like what are they even fucking thinking? They're not thinking about war. You think the Chinese fucking have tranny fucking generals? I mean, I'm not gonna say that.
The Chinese, of course they do. Didn't you hear the UN stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there may be a day where they make a couple fake ones and trot them out to fucking gaslight people, but they're never trust their fucking military to that.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
What's the only thing? And this is just my personal opinion. I haven't done any research on this, but the only thing that's scary or worrisome about the Russian military is that it's a fucking man's club. They've got this brutal system, the conscription system, where they kick the shit out of each other. They treat each other like crap, and it's this fucking messed up fucking system. But they're all dudes, and they all just want to fucking fuck shit up.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for that too. Like,
Yeah.
But it's like,
oh, you're gonna be nice to me while I'm in the army.
Yeah.
Let's go play.
When you
army.
see
Let's go play army, guys. But you gotta be nice to me when we play army.
Oh shit! Okay. Did you guys read about the Australian Special Forces that the American DEA stopped working with in Afghanistan? Oh shit, dude!
Oh yeah, because
they had seven prisoners.
Killed them.
Yeah, they had 7 prisoners. And they get picked up by an American helicopter, and they go, "We only have room for 6." And they hear a pop. Okay, we only have 6.
Fucking based as shit.
It's
That's
so
fucking based.
Some door gunner, some American door gunner, fucking rats him out.
Oh, what the fuck!
And I'm not trying to knock you guys at all. Like,
and I guarantee you, the other 6 knew exactly that 7th one that was gonna go too.
Oh
you
yeah,
didn't even have to talk about it,
No.
Oh yeah, but like I've met over the years. I met some fucking. I personally, like in person, met some of you American fellas and some military American fellas. You've all been really cool guys, but you're being infiltrated just as bad as Canada is, and it's fucking. It's sad to see that. Where the fuck you were GI Joe, man? Like and yeah, you're the guys who kick the shit out of the fucking Nazis, man. You're the guys who kick the shit out of the Japs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember fucking Desert Storm. I was sitting there fucking watching that like I was 10 years old or whatever, 9 years old or something. And I'm like cutting out of the newspaper all the jet fighters that they're using, the articles about Scud missiles and all this shit. You guys are fucking, you guys are based and you're getting fucked over.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's what I think is going to happen. We're going to get involved in another war, And guess what's going to happen? All these trannies and women are going to get kicked out of the military because they're going to immediately see like they are too much of a threat to our military power. We need to get rid of them. Just get them out. Kick them out. We don't give a shit what anyone says about us. Kick them out because we cannot afford to lose a war.
I think initially they're going to be put in second string, and they're going to cause problems first, and a lot of people are going to die, unfortunately.
And then they're going to kick them out.
But people don't learn quickly. Like, look how long it took, in World War I for people to understand that throwing masses of soldiers against machine gun fire and artillery fire was a bad idea. Like, how many thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people died before because the people pulling the strings weren't the ones running into the machine gun fire, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be the initial problem. I mean, the lesson will get learned, and it's accelerated now. Mm-hmm. Like a real war. I'm not talking like Afghanistan.
That's what they talk about
on the ground.
Like, when they're talking about the military is going to escort Trump out of office. I'm like, you do realize that like 90% of the military. The enlisted men, at least, are Trump supporters.
They are either promoting the lie, or they're people who honestly believe.
No, they're talking.
Like, but like they believe, or they're promoting a lie that a large portion of your military are trannies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, they're talking to them faggots like Vindman and shit. Who? He's the brass, and they're the officer class. Fucking. They'll agree to it, sure, but they don't realize that their enlisted men are going to be like, fuck you, and put a bullet in his head before they do that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But somebody had posted what the fuck? What do they say? It was an article that's saying something about Trump and running into problems with the generals of the military brass. And it was really funny looking at the replies of it. It was all like, dude, that's not, friction with the brass. That's sedition because he's the president. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about a conflict with between the president and the military. First off, like you guys said, the troops are going to be with Trump. Second off, anybody in the military says anything against the fucking president, they've got right to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And you think
that's capital crime. That's punishable by death.
And when Trump's in his it might not do it in his second term, but in his third, fourth term, like those people are going to be in jail.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that tweet. It's like pick your poison: hanging, public execution, or just suck on your pistol.
Yeah.
Fucking Tata. Yeah. Fucking Tata's base.
That guy's fucking right, man.
Like I said, I always loved Tatas. Now I know why.
Yeah, Dylan in D Live says we did that in World War II and it cost us greatly.
Yeah.
Soviet Russia in World War II.
Yeah.
I think a lot of sides just threw people at the wall.
Eventually you get into a situation where even if it's on a small scale, there's going to be a point where you're, in a greater war where you're just everybody go because we've got no other choice. But I mean, it was doctrine for certain people.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the casualty numbers on the Eastern Front in World War II, it's not until the end of the war, like the last year of the war, year and a half of the war, where the casualties between the Germans and the Russians are even comparable. The Russians were just, they were either being captured in groups of, hundreds of thousands, or B, they're just dying. Yeah. They're just dying in that rate.
They were like getting thrown out there with like no shoes and fucking no rifle. Just give them a stick and wrap some rags around their feet and throw them out.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions about how capable the Russian military was, but I think part of that is they had what you'd call prison battalions, or what do they call that? Punishment battalions.
Oh yeah, they were behind the front line, and if they retreated at all, they just gunned them down.
The Russians had, they had an organized military, and they had equipment, and they had this and that. They just, for most of the war, they didn't know how to use it properly. But I mean, they would send out their soldiers into a minefield and go clear the minefield with no equipment, just walk. But it's from some of the battle reports and things that I've read, the histories that I've read, like they were, they had a lot of conscripts who didn't know their ass from a hole in the ground, but they weren't just, half their army didn't have guns by any means. They had way more equipment and they were being supplied by you guys, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, we gave them in World War I. We actually gave the Russians 1895 Winchesters. Remington and Westinghouse built a shit ton of Mosin, like I think a couple hundred, like 100,000 Mosins. We gave them 1911s and 45 ACP in World War I. World War II, we gave them new 1911 A1s and 45 ACP as well.
Yep.
We also gave them 1919 machine guns, M4 Shermans, P-40 Warhawks, things like that. Dude, those ungrateful sons of bitches, we helped them out so fucking much, and they just turned their fucking backs on us like that. That's why you never trust a fucking communist.
We tried to warn you.
Yeah.
Don't help them. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Patton was right. Right. After defeating the Germans, we should have just kept marching right on into fucking Moscow.
There's a guy we could have a whole conversation
retraining all the German soldiers. Yeah. Retraining all the German soldiers we captured to use American military tactics so they could fight alongside us.
I think he said something along the lines of they don't even have to do anything, they just got to turn them loose at the communists.
Yeah.
Like
those German soldiers wouldn't fuck around.
Yeah, even like the young guys who didn't have any experience, yeah, they needed a little bit more time to train because they were putting kids in at the end of the war. But you get the crack German units, and they were outnumbered so many,
motherfuckers. They were motherfuckers.
But you gotta think like some of these guys that spent a few years on the Eastern Front, and then they drop them into Normandy, and go, oh, the Americans are coming, right? Like you guys got a shit fucking deal there. A lot of American boys got the shit deal, fucking running up them fucking beaches and running through the fucking through Normandy, man.
Oh yeah, that was not a good place to be.
That's one thing I always wanted to do before I die one day is I want to go to Normandy and pay my respects to all those young men who died there.
Yeah.
Because I think about that shit and I get choked up sometimes.
Dude,
that the whole reason we're here today and that our freedom lasted as long as it did, because we still have some freedom to some degree here in this country. The whole reason it lasted as long as it did is because of what those men did that day. And no women were there, no trannies were there.
I'd respectfully disagree that there's any connection between fighting in Normandy and but it was those people and their blood and their people who came before them that gave you what you have, right? And that mentality and that we're going to go in, that bravery, that ability, right? Like
spirit, spirit.
You Americans have, you're there's a large portion of your population that aren't American anyways, but the true Americans still have that fucking spirit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Alamo spirit. It's fucking Davy Crockett.
Well, like I said, they try to paint Americans as vastly different than when you used to be, but the
real Americans aren't.
But
Tech Kitchen and
it's just a very vocal minority that's saying that shit. It's not the majority,
We're overlapping Tucker Carlson.
But they keep the majority so busy. I watch Tucker Carlson on replay on BitChute every morning, so I don't have to watch commercials. So.
Yeah.
Plus, we give the people the news unfiltered. Plus, our take on it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I can't even imagine being on one of those fucking pontoon boats heading to Normandy, knowing that full well your chances of surviving is less than 1%.
Yeah.
But they kept going.
Yeah.
They saw their friends dying and they kept going.
Storming right into being mowed down by fucking.
They use the Canadian Army as a fucking test for that.
You're welcome.
We had our own fucking.
You're not going to use your best guys first.
Oh, it's like, hey.
Well, I like that clip from that movie.
That was a
I forgot which
Canadian
one.
jab at it, in case you didn't get that.
The clip from the movie where
The
like,
Canadians
it's like
fought in World War II. They had an army back then. What? I'm just kidding.
We had the largest navy in the world at the time.
I forget which movie.
Really?
Not the best.
I didn't know that.
Not the best.
Not the best.
Not the
just
best.
The biggest.
There's
But
the
the
clip
biggest.
of like
No,
a
seriously, we
15-year-old
had-
grabbing his hand or trying to grab his hand and it's blown off and he's just casually walking towards like the machine gun fire.
Yep.
I forgot what movie that is, but that always gets me every time.
Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, the guy
Yeah.
picks up his arm. He just gets
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
keeps walking.
Yeah, it just keeps walking.
I
Yeah,
still
I'll-
have a pistol I can shoot with that. The other
I'll
hand,
fucking glue this on later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking find that German bastard. He just blew my fucking arm off. And I'm gonna shove my arm up his ass.
You got to remember that the German guys sitting on the Atlantic Wall were in the same fucking boat. They were just sitting there going like, "Oh fuck!" Like when
If
the
they
Americans
push past
came
this
through-
line, we're dead.
Yeah, when the Americans came through and started fucking, shooting flamethrowers into their bunkers and shit, like those people were just.
Yeah, that was fucking based as shit.
Yeah.
Oh, flamethrowers are so based.
Yeah, the reality is nobody is a winner in fucking war.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
No,
not a pretty. That's why
Especially
you
the
don't do it
civilians.
for stupid reasons, or for other people who aren't appreciative of it, such
Yeah.
as a certain desert country that probably doesn't have a right to exist.
But I mean, like, if the United States got invaded, we'll go back to that conversation from the other day. If the United States got invaded by China, and you pick up your fucking guns and you kick the fucking motherfuckers out, and thousands of people died, you've won. I mean, you could say that, oh, geez, it shouldn't have happened, and blah blah blah. But it's
That's a genuine war. That is a
just
genuine war. Yeah.
there are
And
just wars.
Even
And if
World
you're-
War II, like now, in hindsight, we can argue over the merits of actually what we did, but like
Well, Japan.
the merits
Japan
of the
took over
motivation.
control
But
of
they
Alaska.
at least thought they were doing the
And
right thing, and that's why there was
it's
such
almost-
an energy for it.
that becomes
unlike-
almost.
Unlike Vietnam, they're there because they had to be there, but they're
But I
like,
mean,
"What the
in-
fuck are we doing here?" Like,
In World War I or World War II, you can go, these are senseless wars or whatever, but you can just look at the individual and go, look what this guy did,
yeah,
right? Like I don't
Yeah.
get like pissed off because I'm half German because somebody talks about what an American did in World War I or World War II. I don't care. I care about, tell me the stories, the good stories. Is this guy, an honorable person? You go, German soldiers lined up some civilians and machine gunned them because it happened. I don't go, oh, because it was Germans, it's okay. Or vice versa, Americans machine gunning unarmed German soldiers. I'm like, no, that's not cool because I think it's a travesty. But you tell me a story of an American did this and killed 10 Germans, and I don't care that he's killing 10 Germans. It's a story of a hero and a warrior, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of my take on it. But however, I think it would be easily argued that most of the wars of the past couple hundred years have been absolutely fucking pointless and never should have been fought.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
the war of the Japanese. I mean, I'm not particularly pro-Japanese.
Or like World War One was the first one where, well, no, actually, the Spanish-American War was the first one where they really used the propaganda to drive the people. But
Yeah.
at least the people thought they were doing something. They were fighting a moral war, and they were on the
But
moral
at least
high
we
ground.
fucking finished it. At least we
Yeah.
finished it
And
and
we
didn't give
finished
up
it.
like we did in
But-
Vietnam,
okay,
Iraq, and
listen,
Afghanistan.
Do you know why we gave up in Vietnam? Is because we couldn't. The soldiers didn't see themselves as having that moral high ground. They're like, "Why the fuck
Yeah,
are we here?
because
It
why
doesn't
the
make
journalists?
any sense."
Because the biggest enemy of the people of all, the journalists, fucked up the America's view on the Vietnam War.
Well,
Yeah.
no, there was no good
Yeah,
reason
give
for
up.
us to be there anyway. So that's kind of.
Have you guys read Von
actually, it
Clausewitz
probably
on
is
war
the
yet?
job of the journalist to, like, if the fucking politicians are saying some bullshit, getting us into wars that we don't need to be in, then I support the journalist fucking
Yeah,
being
but
like,
if,
this is
if
bullshit.
the result is Vietnam veterans coming back horribly fucked up and then getting eggs thrown at them by protesters.
I was about to say that.
journalist
Now I
failed.
agree that
Yeah.
the journalist did some bullshit during Vietnam.
Yeah.
But
so they're calling them baby killers and shit. They're just fucking fighting for their
but
lives.
call out the right bullshit, because
Yeah.
actually calling out the war was what they did right.
Well, when you don't call out the
But
bullshit,
calling out
they
the
will cover it up.
soldiers was
Time
not
will
right.
always cover that shit up. Like, you can look at World War II. There's countless like civilian bombings that makes no sense.
Firebombing of Dresden was fucking horrible.
Children, hospitals, schools,
Yeah.
just to bring down their morale.
Well,
like that's
that one was kind of iffy because you got to remember in like a
No,
B-17.
not even remotely. Not even
when they did
remotely.
that,
No,
they-
no.
No, what I'm not. Let me finish. Can I at least get the words out of my mouth first?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
They're not using laser guided weapons. They're literally looking through a sight glass with a crosshair on it, and then if the fucking target that they're supposed to hit flies past at like just a second too late, and they hit that switch just too late. Well, now those bombs are going to miss their target by like 100, 200 yards.
Sure, but that's not what happened in Dresden.
And you got to remember.
Sure, but that's not what happened in Dresden.
No, and we're not talking about the guy flying that airplane. Even if he's briefed on what he's, this is what we're doing, we're bombing Dresden, it's a civilian area. I don't blame that soldier. I don't blame that pilot. I don't blame that bombardier.
Oh,
no, because he might get shot just for saying, no, I won't do it.
But the guys who organized those bombings of German cities did so they had no moral high ground. Like, they were murdering civilians and they knew it, and that was their plan.
It's because it was hard for them to get a foothold, and they thought, you know what, if I demoralize their people, we'll get a foothold.
And
it only made it worse.
The shittiest part of that, the shittiest fucking part of that.
Well, yeah, because it gives them
Listen to
the
this, though.
moral high ground because they say, look what they're fucking doing to us,
No,
and it
the
fucking lights the
shittiest
fire
part-
under their ass to fucking fight you even harder. You know what I mean?
The shittiest part of this whole fucking thing of the bombings of Germans, just this one part of the war, is German fucking manufacturing increased every fucking month from 1944 right to the end of the fucking war, like to the last couple months. All those civilians died for fucking nothing.
Yeah,
that's what I don't like about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the bombing of civilians anyways, but that particularly it was so, it didn't do anything. Like a Walrus, you were kind of said something about this. It steeled the German people against the Americans. The Americans could have made peace. The Americans
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not the fault of the soldiers, it's not the fault of that pilot.
No, it's the fault of the.
It's
the
actually amazing.
Jews and Churchill.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Communists too, Joseph Stalin.
Oh yeah.
We could have had a war where we talked to Germany and said, hey, we can work something out where you don't attack England. We'll help you,
Well, I mean,
and we'll all
that's what
join
Hitler
forces
tried.
together to fight the Japanese and the Russians. We could have done that. There's probably an alternate universe where that happened.
If only a high-ranking German official had hopped on a plane and flown to England and tried to make a peace deal.
Wait.
If only that would
That had happened.
Oh yeah,
different.
right.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like how much how much Hitler
we
was
could
trying
have
to
decided
avoid.
Germany and told England to go fuck themselves. We could have told England to go fuck themselves and bomb. What if we fought England in World War II? Imagine how fucking weird that would have been. We almost did that in World War I. Half the American population in World War I said, well, there's really no reason to choose one side or the other. We could fight the Germans and really still not be the bad guys or the good guys. We'd just be fighting a war.
Yeah, well, that's why they had to paint the Germans as such bad guys in World War II.
Yeah.
Because World War I, it was incredibly difficult to get Americans involved in the war. They had to do the whole Lusitania bullshit to like get any type of support for it, and even that was they just pretended like they had it.
Half of them had parents that were just from World War I, and could
so what did they do? We gave the American people financial. We gave them financial, kind of a financial, holding a carrot over their head with war bonds. Here, buy war bonds, and we'll give you money. Here. But
support your
so yeah.
Right, Roy Patterson. We go to the Japanese into the war as well, though. That's 100% true, and not just that. There's a reason we did it to the Japanese and not the Germans, because if we were trying to do it to the Germans, you wouldn't have got the people's support at all. But since it's the Japanese, they could be like,
Well, the Japanese
eventually
the Japanese were the Japanese got their submarines off the coast of Washington, Oregon. They had balloons that they attached fire bombs and gas bombs to that made it all the way into the American Midwest, up into the stratosphere and stuff, and came down into the American Midwest and gassed a bunch of neighborhoods, lit a bunch of neighborhoods on fire.
Weren't they just
So the
extremely
Japanese
pissed about like a trade deal, or it was like a trade embargo? They just got extremely pissed because all their supplies were just cut off.
Well, you got to. Once again, you can't look at Japan from an outside perspective. You have to look at what that country, what that nation is, because it's not a country, it's a nation. What kind of resources they have, or in this case, lack. And you got to think that they're in the Pacific, they're in the Asian sphere, and they're the only people who are kind of modern. And they've got no resources, and they're surrounded by fucking what we would, to them, the Chinese were fucking monkeys.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Sitting on all the resources, and all they have is you have like millions and millions of people, and you can't even, feed yourselves. So I mean, I'm not justifying, but you got to understand why they had to.
They
expand,
still can't.
But the Japanese had to expand at the time. Now we're in a different world, but then they had to expand or die.
Yeah, Roy Patterson says it was oil and steel, and it was during a time of war. Fucking.
Okay. Here's something ironic. Everybody, knows about the Japanese katana. The katana is such an amazing thing. Can cut through a gun barrel and all this blah 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 blah.
Oh fuck!
Japanese had shit
made
steel,
out of a piece
dude.
of water pipe, and they made because they had to make a bunch of them for their officers. They commissioned a water pipe company to take steel water pipes, mild steel water pipes, and a piece of carbon steel stock, sandwiched the two together and turned it into a blade.
Yeah. But I mean, even going back 400 years. They built those swords, and they became legendary because of that hard front leading edge, or the hard sharpened edge. But they built their swords that way because they didn't have good fucking steel. In the 1500s, 1400s, and Europe,
that's why they had to fold it so many times.
So
they had to
many
get the
fucking
string.
because they had shit. It was iron. It was the backs were iron. Meanwhile, in Europe, in the 15 and 1600s, they had almost homogeneous steel.
Yep.
Right, like it's getting towards there's a big dip later on, right before the industrial revolution in Europe, but early on they managed to get better and better and better and better steel. Well, the Japanese super katana, and it's really just the leading edge is good steel, the rest is shit.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Here's another reason why we should never become allies with Great Britain. I'm gonna tell you, when the Industrial Revolution started kicking off in the UK, but they got their Industrial Revolution started before ours did.
Yeah.
And they wanted to keep it a secret, their manufacturing techniques, so they didn't want us to become industrialized. Those fucking bastards.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
But I mean,
We should have fought them in World War I. We should have fought them in World War II. The world would be a better place if the fucking English were just defeated all together.
Why do you think?
Fuck the English. Fuck the British.
Why do you think the English were so anti-American for so long? It's because they were an economic threat. It's the same thing with why the English people became anti-German. Like, the Germans were great allies right up, and the British had frequently helped Frederick the Great during the Napoleonic Wars. All the German states were aligned with England, unless they were captured by Napoleon. They were good buddies. The change happened when Germany started solidifying and industrializing, and all of a sudden Germany started becoming virtually the China of today. They started mass producing dishes and cutlery and all this type of shit, and they started getting to become especially certain chemicals and dyes and things, and Germany started becoming an economic threat to England. That's why they became the enemy.
Yep.
Why Russia wasn't the enemy? Why wasn't Russia a bad guy?
Well, I don't want to go too much deeper into this. I'm gonna have to shut it down.
Oh, sorry.
It's getting like 4:30 a.m. here, so.
Oh, nice.
We've been going for almost
Holy
3.5
shit,
hours.
I was gonna say this is really like 9:30 almost.
Oh, I had to say on behalf of CBN, what does katana mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It's a samurai sword.
Yeah, I think
It means Japanese
sword.
sword.
this type of sword.
It's a nip sword.
Someone,
Well, the
Yeah,
Chinks are the Chinese, the nips are the Japs. Yeah, the
someone's
nips,
seen Samurai
Japs.
Cop.
All right, come on, wait.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It means, yeah, it's Japanese.
I mean, I don't expect to last very long on
There's always one guy.
YouTube,
that hasn't
but I'm
seen
not
Samurai
trying to
Cop.
like just
Nippon is a Japanese island, right? Like it's
yeah.
Yeah.
My point was
Yeah,
you don't
there's
need
the
to drop
Japanese
every
and
goddamn
the Nipponese.
racial slur
Right.
you can. as
It's
I'm
not a
trying to
racial
stop
slur.
It is. It doesn't matter what I think
7.7
anyway.
Japanese.
The point
When you
is,
buy-
I
when
don't
you buy
care,
7
but that
point-
means but they are. That's the big point. You know what I mean?
and he said it with a hard P
Yeah.
too. Like that's
Chaps are what you wear when you're going out to dinner. Those fucking chaps.
All right, guys. Here I'll go ahead and open this chest here.
All the shackles.
Yeah.
Boy, they
Do a shackles.
Distribute checkies.
I hope I'm the grand winner of all the shackles.
I don't know if I can get on now.
Give it a couple minutes for everybody to
Are you guys
prepare.
D Live.
Are you guys
D Live
gonna
crashed.
get off the chat when he shuts it down? Are you
Oh,
guys
there
gonna
we
stay in the call a little longer?
I can stay on.
Yeah, for a little bit.
All right. All right.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna play the
we
song,
go with that.
so I might mute you guys for a second while the song plays
Wow.
on the way out.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
All right. Word.
Couple of racial slurs and we're shut down. Then that's it. Okay.
Sorry. Shake started it.
It's just
It's all
you
Shake's
get, you
fault.
get my point. Like I'm not trying to.
No. I know. No.
Yeah.
I felt bad when I said my my words. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. Shake started it. Shake started it. It's Shake's fault.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is.
I'm sorry,
It's not my
Shake.
problem.
Yeah.
I know.
Woo! 2.1.
People can talk
2.1.
about their whose fault it is all they want to, but what really matters is whose problem it's going to be.
Yeah.
All right, so also Marqtosis is the big winner with 2.9, Raid Siren with 2.1, Roy Patterson with 1.8, and Angry Patriot with 1.6.
Okay, I got to figure out how to get more of these lemons here so I
Gotta-
can donate more. Because I'm running out of donation lemons for you. Donate you an ice cream. That's 10, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Now I've only got 7.49 left. That's easy, like 3 cents,
It's
right?
funny they use lemons because
They're like
lemons
5
are
cents.
like everyone talks about like, oh, this one's a real lemon. Nobody wants that. It's a lemon. You know, lemons are sour. It's always a term for something that's always broken.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that the
Right.
Ford Pinto's a real lemon. You know,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
this gun I got's a lemon. You know, yeah, it's funny.
it is funny.
It's funny.
All right,
Yeah,
let me play this song. And now that we have a theme song, I think it's official
well, thanks for having me out, and thanks for everybody for listening.
for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for
Pleasure
coming.
as always.
Yeah,
Oh,
likewise.
Air Raid, you should like mute your mic and listen to the song or something because
Oh yeah, I'll be listening.
it's a great song. I don't know if you heard it before, but
Is it Ain't I Right by Marty Robbins? Play that.
Fortunate son.
That's actually also a good song.
right. I am gonna have to
Song,
mute
but a
you if
good
you keep talking over the song. I said I'm playing the song
Zip.
because you guys can't hear it in the Zoom chat. But all right, I'm gonna try this again.
Well, I wake up early in the morning, you see. Lord knows it feels like
I didn't say
somebody
anything, I was
digging on
quiet.
me. Yes, it does. My liver inside really happy right now. He said he's gonna quit his job, but I'll change somehow. But I ain't gonna be here long. Not after 8 I So every time I get to laughing, I start to cough and wheeze. Yes, I do. If I didn't have my cigarette, I'd kill someone. Then it wouldn't matter that the state of Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, oh Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump a leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, and my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, none, oh Lord. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long.